Mara's silent signals cut through the noise as escape routes snapped shut one by one. Her steady gaze traced outlines on cracked walls, mapping dwindling options. Tension mounted, urgency spiking in every tense glance exchanged. Trapped and nearly out of paths, Lal hastily tossed a smoke bomb to the ground. A dense cloud erupted between them and their pursuers, swallowing the chaos in mist. Precious seconds blossomed from the murk, granting fleeting safety. Breaths ragged but spirits unbroken, the team regrouped within the hollowed walls of an abandoned warehouse. Shadows wrapped around them, a brief refuge from neon glare and pounding rain. Their eyes met in unspoken questions, the mission far from over. Sophia's face tightened as she revealed a harsh truth. A mole lurked within their own ranks. Betrayal cut deeper than any external threat, confidence splintering beneath flickering lights. The fragile trust that held them began to crumble dangerously. Tensions flared like sparks in dry wood. Accusations flew in harsh, silent exchanges under the unstable glow. The team's unity fractured, doubt poisoning every gesture and glance. Loyalties hung precariously, a fragile web threatening to unravel. In quiet defiance, Mara examined the silver locket anew, her gloved hands steady despite the turmoil. A minute-hidden compartment caught the edge of her attention, unnoticed until now. Curiosity gnawed beneath her resolve, promising revelations ahead. Delicately opening the tiny compartment revealed a microfilm, minuscule but undeniably real. Etched upon it were encrypted coordinates, mysterious and compelling. The weight of new possibility pressed upon them, challenging every conviction. Dex's voice, though still silent, carried fierce insistence as he advocated pursuing the cryptic lead. The risk was massive, but so was the hope it offered, a chance to salvage what remained. His belief in salvation sparked resolve anew within the group. Sophia swallowed hard, the strategist's resolve bending but not breaking under the shift. With grim determination, she recalibrated their priorities, steering the team toward uncertain horizons. The mission's true test was just beginning. Inside a dimly lit room laden with scattered maps and dusty tomes, the team huddled around a small projector. The microfilm flickered onto the wall, revealing cryptic diagrams and faded handwriting. Sophia traced her finger over the symbols, while Lyle's sharp eyes pieced together the cipher's meaning under the watchful gaze of Mara and Dex. The coordinates extracted from the microfilm led them straight to an underground network, long forgotten beneath the city's worn streets. This labyrinth of tunnels whispered secrets of a past buried deep, barely touched by the neon glow above. The team studied a worn map, plotting their descent into shadowy corridors that promised answers or danger. Discarding their usual high-tech gadgets, the group assembled vintage equipment tailored for the old tunnel's unique challenges. Mara donned her black leather gloves tighter as they checked aged lanterns, rope coils, and weathered picks. Each piece, relics of a bygone era, prepared them for a silent journey where modern advantages held no sway. Under the cloak of night, the team advanced silently towards the concealed entrance, shadows lengthening and thickening around them. Mara's piercing green eyes scanned the area as Dex moved steadily, both communicating through practiced hand signals. The air was thick with tension, every step careful to remain unseen in the shifting gloom. Suddenly, a familiar figure stepped from the darkness, the faint grin betraying a hidden agenda. The mole's reveal sent a sharp jolt through the team, blocking the passage with confident ease. Mara's gaze burned intense, the black leather gloves clenching subtly as the tension between them crackled. Words unsaid hung heavy in the charged standoff, until Mara's quick wit and unwavering calm shifted the balance. With a deft feint and pointed gesture, she outmaneuvered the betrayer, forcing a retreat. The path opened once more, with the team's trust tempered but intact, ready to press onward. Navigating the winding tunnels, faint luminescence from the silver locket's cryptic symbol revealed subtle markings along damp walls. Each step carried them deeper into the maze, where time felt stretched and fragmented like the flickering lantern light. The rhythm of silent signals maintained their cohesion amid the echoing emptiness. They emerged into a hidden chamber where evidence lay scattered across a battered table, enough to unravel the corrupt organization's iron grip. Documents, photographs, and a map detailing illicit routes promised a turning tide. Hope flickered in their eyes as the weight of their mission crystallized in this clandestine trove. As dawn's first light spilled over the city skyline, the team exchanged glances heavy with relief and quiet triumph. The long night's ordeal had shifted the balance, their silent struggle drawing to a hopeful pause. In the crowded street below, life stirred anew, ignorant of the battles fought just beneath its surface. In the soft morning glow, Mara placed the small silver locket upon the worn table, its emblem catching the light with a quiet brilliance. The cipher etched on its surface symbolized not only the secrets uncovered but the hard-won freedom ahead. A new day had begun, marked by resilience and the promise of justice restored. The rain tapped softly against the old wooden window, each drop a reminder of time slipping away. Clara stared at the faded photograph on the mantelpiece, her fingers tracing the outline of a once familiar face. Her heart tightened. 20 years ago, she had left this town, chasing dreams that felt too big for this small place. But dreams, she learned, have a way of circling back, much like the seasons. A knock blended into the rhythm of the storm outside. Clara's breath caught. Who would come after all these years? Opening the door, she found him standing there, soaked but unmistakably him. "I never stopped thinking about you," he said softly, the vulnerability in his voice clearer than the rain. Clara's eyes searched his face, memories flooding in like the tide. There was anger, yes, but also a profound sadness that mirrored her own. They sat in silence, the storm a backdrop to years of unspoken words. "Why now?" she finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He looked down, struggling before meeting her gaze. "Because it took me this long to understand what I lost." The room filled with a fragile hope, delicate as the rain outside. They talked, shared stories of lost time, and the paths that led them astray. Each word was a stitch, weaving a tapestry of healing and forgiveness. Though the past was a shadow, it no longer defined them. As the storm slowed, a quiet peace settled between them. Clara smiled, a weight lifting from her chest. "Maybe some echoes are meant to bring us home." He nodded, reaching out to take her hand with gentle certainty. Outside, the clouds parted, revealing a clear, hopeful dawn. The map was ancient, edges frayed and ink faded, yet it promised a secret buried deep in the Hollowwood forest. Lena adjusted her worn leather backpack, the morning mist curling around her as she stepped beneath the daunting canopy of towering oaks. "No turning back now," she whispered, tracing the cryptic symbols carved onto the map's surface. Each step was a soft crunch against the moss-covered ground, the air thick with silence save for a distant, haunting call. The compass in her hand spun wildly, as if caught in a playful magic, refusing to settle on a true north. She followed the compass's restless dance, deeper into the woods where sunlight barely touched the earth. Suddenly, a rustle, a flash of vibrant feathers, then a small, clever fox peered from behind a bush, eyes gleaming with curiosity. "Seems you're not the only one seeking something," Lena murmured, as the fox darted ahead, beckoning her to follow. Through tangles of brambles and over root-strewn paths, the fox led her to a hidden glade shimmering with golden light. At the heart of the clearing stood the Whispering Stone, an ancient monolith covered in swirling runes that seemed to hum with life. Lena approached cautiously, placing her palm against the cool, smooth surface. The runes pulsed beneath her fingers. A voice echoed softly in her mind. "Only those who listen with their hearts may unlock the forest's secret." Closing her eyes, Lena breathed deeply, attuning herself to the subtle whispers of the wind brushing through the leaves. Images bloomed in her mind. A hidden doorway beside the stone, sealed for centuries, but waiting to be opened. With a gentle press, the ground beside the monolith shifted, revealing a narrow tunnel descending into the earth. Heart pounding with equal parts fear and excitement, Lena stepped inside, the glow from the runes lighting her way. The passage led to a cavern filled with crystals that shimmered like stars, reflecting the dreams of all who sought the forest's heart. Amid the crystals lay a small chest, bound with silver and marked with the same symbols as the map. Opening it, Lena found a simple locket containing a seed pulsating with life, a symbol of new beginnings and harmony with nature. Emerging from the forest, Lena smiled, knowing the true treasure was the journey itself and the bond she'd formed with the whispering winds. Maya stood in the buzzing station, clutching a crumpled train ticket in her palm. The arrival board flickered, Only one train remained before the station would close for the night. Her phone buzzed, a message from her brother, stranded miles away after a long day. "I'm waiting at the old station," it read, desperation veiled in short words. Time was slipping through her fingers, like the fading daylight outside. Passengers hustled past, heads down, lost in their own stories, unaware of the urgency in Maya's eyes. She took a deep breath, whispering, "I can't leave him there alone." Rushing through the crowd, she clutched the ticket tightly, hoping it was enough for both of them. As she approached the platform, the train's whistle pierced the air. A final call, a last chance. Maya spotted him on the opposite platform, waving frantically, his face a mix of relief and fear. But the gate began to close, barriers descending like silent judges. Without thinking, she called out, "Hold on," and dashed forward, heart pounding. A station attendant called after her, but she paid no mind, focused only on the one who needed her. With a last leap, she squeezed through, just as the gates clanged shut behind her. Breathless, she reached him, clasped his hand, their eyes locking in shared relief. The train doors opened, welcoming them aboard, two souls reunited against the ticking clock. Settling into their seats, the rhythm of the tracks beneath was a quiet celebration of their escape. Maya leaned back, voice soft. "Sometimes, the smallest ticket holds the biggest hope." Outside the window, the night stretched endlessly, but inside, a light glowed bright, a bond unbroken. And as the train carried them forward, Maya knew this was just the beginning of a new journey together. Under the dim glow of a street lamp, Detective Marlowe crouched beside the shattered glass of the old music shop window. Inside, among the scattered shards and broken strings, lay the body of Victor Chen, the town's renowned harpist. A single, crumpled sheet of music rested in his hand, untitled and unfamiliar. "What were you playing, Victor?" Marlowe whispered, eyes scanning the note for any clue. "The shop owner, Mrs. Grady," appeared from the shadows, clutching her shawl tight. "He came in earlier, scared. Said someone was after the composition he discovered." Marlowe examined the sheet again. The note seemed ordinary, yet there was an odd symbol scratched in the margin. A jagged lightning bolt. He recalled an old town legend about a lost melody, hidden within pieces of music, that could drive listeners mad. Determined, Marlowe headed to the local library's archives, fingers tracing over dusty ledgers and faded newspaper clippings. There, he found a record of a harpist from decades ago, who vanished after unveiling a captivating tune linked to that very symbol. The pieces fit. Victor had uncovered the same haunting melody, and someone wanted to keep it secret. Back at the shop, Marlowe noticed a locked drawer beneath the counter, and a faint humming sound emanating from within. Using a hairpin, he picked the lock. Inside lay a small, intricately carved music box playing the melody from the mysterious sheet. The tune floated eerily in the air. Marlowe felt a strange dizziness, but clenched his jaw in resolve. Suddenly, a shadowy figure emerged from the back room, a rival musician desperate to silence Victor and claim the composition. "You don't understand its power," the figure hissed, lunging toward Marlowe. Quick reflexes saved him, and during the scuffle, the music box fell silent as it shattered on the floor. The intruder fled, leaving behind a trail of whispered threats and unfinished secrets. Marlowe secured the scene, deciding to safeguard the sheet music and the broken box pieces, vowing to uncover the full story. As dawn broke, the quiet town stirred, unaware of the melody that almost consumed its soul. Marlowe glanced at the crumpled notes one last time. "Some tunes," he mused, "are better left unplayed." In the village of Elder's Hollow, no one dared to light the old lantern after dusk, except Mara. One foggy evening, Mara found the lantern hanging from a crooked branch deep in the woods. A soft glow flickered inside, and a whisper brushed against her ear, "Follow the light." Curiosity overcame fear as she lit the lantern, its flame burning with an eerie blue hue. The whisper grew louder, leading her along a winding path she'd never seen before. Branches seemed to bend away, shadows dancing just beyond the light's reach. At the path's end, a forgotten well lay shrouded in mist, its stones ancient and crumbled. The whisper urged, "Look within," and Mara peered down into the darkness below. Suddenly, a face emerged, a child trapped in twilight, eyes wide with hope. "Help me," the voice pleaded softly, the lantern's light pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. Mara grasped the rope tied to the well's edge and began to pull gently. With effort, the child was lifted into the cool night air, the mist parting as if in gratitude. The boy reached out, and as their hands touched, the lantern's flame turned warm and golden. "Thank you," he whispered, before fading into the glow and disappearing into the night. The village suddenly felt alive, the air lighter, as if a long-held sadness had lifted. Mara returned to the hollow, the lantern now dim but peaceful in her hands. The next morning, villagers found the old well sealed and the forest calm. The lantern brought back the lost, Mara told them quietly, her eyes shining with wonder. From that day on, the village no longer feared the woods at night, knowing light could chase even the deepest shadows. And sometimes, when the wind was just right, a soft whisper reminded them that hope lingers where the light shines. The alarm's humming was the only sound cutting through the eerie silence of the museum's grand hall. Silas crouched behind a marble pillar, checking his watch, midnight to the second. Time for the plan to unfold. He whispered into the comlink, eyes sharp, "Team, the Van Gogh isn't going to admire itself." Across the room, Leela perched by the security panel, her fingers dancing over the keypad with practiced ease. Beep! The heavy steel door clicked open silently, the final barrier between them and the priceless masterpiece. Silas glanced up, spotting guards rounding the corner. "Change of plans," he murmured, drawing his smoke bomb. A sudden burst of smoke filled the hallway, confusion spreading like wildfire among the bewildered guards. Leela slipped through the chaos, sliding the glass case open with a glinting tool. The Van Gogh's colors gleamed as she lifted the painting out, replacing it swiftly with a near-perfect replica. "Package secured, exfil route." Silas's voice was calm, betraying none of the tension. Jax responded from the roof. "Rooftop extraction ready, deploying zipline now." They moved as one, silent shadows navigating the maze-like corridors with military precision. Suddenly, a motion sensor blinked red. Leela froze, heart racing. "We've got company." Silas grinned, pulling out a mini EMP device. "Count on me to jack the system." Lights flickered and alarms silenced. "Go," he urged, leading the sprint to the roof. Jax caught them at the edge, hooking the zipline harnesses in place with mechanical efficiency. One by one, they zipped away into the night, the city lights blurring beneath them. Safely on the adjacent building, Silas breathed out. "A clean job, team, like clockwork." Leela held up the painting, marveling at the success mingled with disbelief. As dawn broke, the city woke unaware. Tonight, the legend of the clockwork caper would quietly echo through the streets. On a rainy evening, Emma noticed the old library on Elm Street was still open, its windows glowing warmly. Curious, she stepped inside, shaking off her umbrella as the cozy scent of aged books wrapped around her. A friendly librarian greeted her, whispering, "Welcome to a place where stories come to life after dark." Emma wandered between tall shelves, her fingers brushing worn spines with titles she'd never heard of. Suddenly, a faint glow emerged from a book titled The Secrets of the Night Garden. Drawn in, Emma opened it and found a delicate map shimmering on the pages. "Follow the map," a soft voice echoed, as if the book itself invited her on an adventure. Guided by the map, Emma found a hidden door behind a bookshelf, leading to a small enchanting garden bathed in moonlight. Fireflies danced around whispering flowers, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of jasmine. Emma smiled, feeling calm and inspired, as if the garden whispered stories meant just for her. After a while, she returned to the library, the hidden door quietly closing behind her. The librarian nodded, saying, "Some secrets are meant to inspire quietly in the midnight hours." Emma felt the magic of that night linger as she picked out a regular book to borrow. Back home, she placed the glowing map on her desk, a reminder of the night's secret journey. As she turned off the light, she whispered, "Thank you for the adventure." The rain stopped, stars peeked through her window, and Emma drifted to sleep with a heart full of wonder. From then on, she visited the old library, whenever the night seemed too quiet or lonely. Each visit brought a new whisper, a gentle nudge to explore stories beyond the pages. Emma had discovered not just books, but a world where magic and comfort lived side by side. And so, the Midnight Library became her secret harbor in the bustling world, always open to those who believe. Elliot Gray steps out of the rain into his dimly lit office, the neon light outside casting long shadows across his cluttered desk. The worn leather of his trench coat still damp, he glances wearily at the faded fedora cradled in his hands. The city's relentless drizzle seeps through the cracks of the shuttered window, and the flickering neon sign hums an eerie lullaby. A sharp knock at the door cuts through the silence as Maeve Sinclair enters, her crimson hair soaked by the storm, droplets falling to the floor. Her scar, a thin jagged line above her eyebrow, glints faintly under the weak overhead light. She holds herself with a mix of determination and desperation that unsettles the smoky stillness of the room. With a steady hand, Maeve slides a worn, leather-bound ledger across Elliot's desk, fingers lingering momentarily on its damp surface. Her eyes, alight with urgency and fear, meet his, silently imploring trust. The thick tome feels heavy, not just in weight but with the promise of secrets untold. Maeve's voice lowers as she explains that the ledger contains names and coded entries linked to a shadowy underground network controlling the city's fate. She warns that this network's reach pervades every corner of power, from law enforcement to the criminal underground. Her tone suggests that the ledger is both a key and a curse. Elliot cautiously opens the worn pages, revealing entries filled with cryptic symbols and names, each penned long ago but still fresh with menace. The faded ink coexists with meticulously drawn codes, a tapestry of conspiracies hiding in plain sight. He senses that deciphering it will demand more than just sharp eyes, it will require risking everything. Suddenly, Detective Harris arrives unannounced, his jagged beard casting shadows under the harsh light as he eyes Maeve suspiciously. His toothpick clenched between gritted teeth, he warns Elliot to stay clear of this web, hinting at dangers beyond the usual city grime. The detective's presence thickens the air with apprehension and mistrust. Maeve counters Harris's caution with a steely insistence, revealing that corruption runs far deeper than even the most cynical cop dares admit. She speaks of betrayals and cover-ups, painting a city infected from its core. Her unwavering belief forces Elliot to reconsider the ease of walking away. Clutching the ledger with renewed resolve, Elliot pockets it beneath his trench coat, the worn leather pressing close against his side. Thunder rumbles distantly outside, echoing the storm within his mind. His gaze sharpens, shadows playing along his weathered face as he prepares for the dangers ahead. Across town, Victor Dane sits bathed in smoke, a cigar smoldering between his fingers as the tension of a crooked deal collapsing unfolds before him. His piercing gray eyes narrow with cold calculation, the flickering light casting sharp angles on his sharp features. The city's underworld trembles under his gaze. With a hard slam of his fist on the mahogany table, Victor signals his enforcers to tighten control over his territory. The room bristles with silent menace as his men exchange grim looks, their loyalty sealed by fear and profit. His power surges like the electric neon outside, unyielding and raw. In a shadowed corner, Elliot watches through dim alleyways as Victor's men rough up a frightened street informant. The flickering neon sign casts erratic light on desperate faces and clenched fists. Elliot's heart pounds, the ledger in his coat feels like a ticking bomb. His silver pocket watch ticks ominously in his hand, a coded call alerting him to a covert meeting location. The cold metal contrasts with the warmth of the neon, marking time in an unforgiving city. Elliot slips it back into his vest pocket, eyes scanning for any shadow that moves too quickly. At a neon-lit diner, Maeve confesses her past ties to Victor's syndicate, now a perilous double agent. Her voice quivers with conflicted loyalty and fragile hope as they plot their next moves. The diner's garish lights and humming signs frame their uneasy alliance. Suddenly, footsteps approach, sharp and deliberate under the flickering diner lights. Elliot and Maeve freeze, their breaths shallow, instincts sharpened. The anticipation of danger hangs heavy in the air, time seeming to freeze along with the trembling neon. In a swift motion, Elliot slips the ledger into his coat as they silently retreat into the misty night. The cold air wraps around them, thick with uncertainty and determination. The stakes have never been higher, and the city's shadows refuse to part easily. An ambush erupts in a dark alley, forcing Elliot and Maeve to separate in desperate flight. Gunfire echoes off damp brick walls as they each fight through the claustrophobic maze of alleys. Their paths diverge, bound by survival and the promise to reunite. Elliot relies on his cunning to evade Victor's relentless men, darting through the city's labyrinth with the ledger clutched tightly. Narrow escapes mask close calls as he navigates familiar shadows, the flickering neon guiding and deceiving in equal measure. His trench coat billows like a ghost as he vanishes into the night. Maeve confronts a traitor within her old circle, her scar barely visible in the dim light as she forces revelations from a trembling voice. The exchange yields a crucial clue about Victor's next move, threading new danger into their web. Her resolve hardens, fueled by past wounds and present betrayal. Reluctantly, Detective Harris teams up with Elliot, his gruff exterior masking growing doubts about the city's pervasive corruption. Their uneasy alliance is punctuated by terse exchanges and shared purpose. The toothpick remains clenched, but a flicker of trust begins to grow. Together, they uncover a sinister plan to rig the upcoming city elections, a scheme intricately linked to the ledger's coded entries. This revelation casts a long shadow over the city's fragile facade of democracy. The weight of exposure and consequence presses down upon them. Elliot painstakingly deciphers the ledger's coded entries, revealing scheduled clandestine meetings and illicit payoffs. Each deciphered line pulls back another layer of the city's clandestine power plays. The ticking silver watch marks the relentless passage of time and encroaching danger. Maeve discovers a familiar name within the ledger's pages, a revelation shaking her to the core and hinting at betrayals perilously close to home. Her hands tremble as the scarred memory aches anew. Trust becomes a scarce currency in a city of shadows. While tailing a suspect through rain-soaked streets, Elliot becomes caught in a violent shootout, bullets tearing the night apart. He escapes by mere seconds, heart pounding against his ribs as danger brushes past like a phantom. The ledger remains safe, swaddled beneath his coat. An old friend at the city's newspaper agrees to publish their findings, but cautions of ruthless enemies lurking in the darkness. The promise of exposure comes with a whispered warning of consequences. Neon lights outside flicker like the fragile line between truth and survival. Maeve's scar, usually hidden beneath fiery strands of hair, is revealed in a rare moment of vulnerability as a mark from past violence inflicted by Victor's henchmen. The pain etched in its jagged line deepens her motivation to bring him down. In that scar lies a story of loss, defiance, and unyielding courage. In the shadows of an abandoned warehouse, rain streamed through shattered windows, casting streaks of silver across the cracked concrete. Elliot Gray adjusted his faded trench coat, his sharp eyes meeting Maeve Sinclair's for a brief moment of mutual resolve amidst the desolation. Maeve's crimson hair clung damply against her face, the scar above her eyebrow tightening as they exchanged whispered plans to move forward carefully. Meanwhile, in a smoke-filled back room, Victor Dane's piercing gray eyes flashed with fury as he barked orders to his cotter. "Find Elliot Gray, no stone unturned, no alley unchecked," he demanded, his voice cutting through the haze of cigar smoke. The city's underworld seemed to pulse with tension as a manhunt was set in motion, placing everyone on precarious edge. Taking advantage of the chaos, Elliot slipped a forged note into a worn leather ledger, planting false intel about a shipment near the docks. Victor's men pursued the lead eagerly, falling into a carefully crafted trap beneath flickering neon lights. The trap was sprung, but the danger was far from over in the maze of shadowy alleys. Behind closed doors, Maeve's guarded expression faltered as she faced her deepest fears. With a voice barely above a whisper, she confided a secret she had long cloaked from Elliot, her scar seeming to burn with renewed pain. This revelation reshaped the fragile trust between them, setting new stakes for their partnership. Detective Harris, chewing a toothpick with a grimace, uncovered whispers of betrayal within his own precinct. His jagged beard shadowed his troubled gaze as he realized a mole was sabotaging their every effort. The trust that once held the police force together began to unravel, plunging the city deeper into suspicion. Unseen in the guttering glow of streetlights, a mysterious figure watched Elliot's every move from the shadows. The silhouette remained motionless, silent, but the weight of their unseen presence added an ominous thread to the night's unfolding peril. Elliot's instincts prickled. He was being hunted from more directions than he realized. Inside Victor's lair, a late-night meeting revealed fractures in his once impervious inner circle. Whispered accusations and wary glances hinted at a potential informant undermining their operations. The cracks in Victor's empire began to widen, threatening to bring down the powerful crime boss from within. Elliot and Maeve barely escaped an explosion detonated in an attempt to silence them forever. The blast shook the ground beneath the flickering neon signs as flames licked the edges of the warehouse nearby. Shaken, but unbowed, their resolve hardened against the growing danger closing in. The steady ticking of a silver pocket watch filled the tense silence as Elliot raced against time to decode a cryptic final message. Each second brought him closer to a vital truth, the intricate gears mirroring the pulse of the city around him. The watch's relentless rhythm became a heartbeat driving him forward. Maeve held the blood-stained matchbook she had retrieved from the latest grim crime scene, her fingers tightening around it like a lifeline. It was a spark in the dark, a clue pointing toward the tangled web of Victor's operations. This new lead set the duo on a fresh trail through the labyrinthine city streets. Detective Harris arrived just in time, navigating his conflicted loyalties to provide critical backup. His gruff presence and toothpick still clenched between his teeth gave a fleeting sense of stability in the chaos. Though hesitant, his alliance with Elliot and Maeve marked a crucial turning point in their struggle. Victor gathered his closest allies in a tense meeting, asserting control with an iron fist coated in doubt. His piercing eyes scanned the room, revealing vulnerabilities beneath the tough exterior. The gathering underscored the mounting cracks spreading through his criminal network. Elliot confronted one of Victor's trusted lieutenants in the shadows of a dimly lit alley, extracting vital information that shifted the balance of power. The lieutenant's guarded expressions faltered under Elliot's relentless questioning. This new intel hinted at surprises lurking in the city's darkest corners. Betrayal cut sharply when a trusted ally was unmasked as working for Victor all along. Elliot's jaw clenched against the sting of deception as alliances were revealed to be far more fragile than they appeared. Trust became a rare and dangerous commodity under the flickering neon glow. In a risky gambit, Maeve confronted a heavily guarded key witness to extract a confession. The tension was palpable as the witness's resolve crumbled under Maeve's unyielding pursuit. This breakthrough illuminated new facets of the tangled conspiracy, engulfing them. A frantic pursuit through rain-slick streets ended with Elliot cornered, the city's shadows closing in. Yet his resourcefulness and quick thinking kept him one step ahead, leveraging flickering neon signs as cover. The chase embodied the relentless danger of the night's deadly game. At last, the significance of the worn leather ledger became clear. It contained incriminating proof of crimes capable of dismantling Victor's syndicate. Each page turned was a dagger aimed at the heart of corruption, unlocking secrets long buried. The ledger was the key weapon in their fight for justice. Victor's network began to fracture as paranoia and distrust seeped through his ranks. Allies questioned each other, while suspicion poisoned every interaction under the shadowy city lights. His empire's foundation trembled as enemies within gathered strength. Elliot planted fabricated evidence implicating corrupt officials who stood complicit in Victor's schemes. The gambit aimed to expose the rot at multiple levels of power, using deception as a weapon against deceit. This blow struck wider than Victor expected, unsettling the entire criminal hierarchy. With nerves steeled and resolve as hard as forged steel, Maeve prepared to face Victor directly. Her crimson hair seemed aflame beneath the neon glow, the scar above her eyebrow a testament to battles fought and surviving. She stepped into the lion's den with unyielding purpose. Elliot trailed Maeve cautiously, shadows concealing his movements as tension mounted between protective instinct and uncertainty. Each step they took further into danger underscored the fragile alliance holding them together. He vowed to ensure she did not walk into a deadly trap alone. Beneath flickering neon signs, a clandestine meeting unfolded, revealing unexpected alliances that could shift the city's power balance. Suspicious glances and whispered agreements hinted at new players entering the fray. The terrain of trust was shifting under the dim glow of the night. Elliot confronted Detective Harris, his sharp eyes probing the detective's shifting loyalties. The jagged beard and toothpick remained constant, but the tension between them crackled in the damp air. Questions hung heavily, unresolved and dangerous. During a heated confrontation, Maeve's scar was nicked once more, the fresh sting deepening the personal stakes of their perilous quest. Blood mingled with rain, underscoring the cost of their mission beneath the ever-present neon haze. The wound was both a reminder and a warning. Following the trail from the blood-stained matchbook, Elliot discovered an abandoned safe house plastered with revelations. Dust motes danced in the shadows as the worn leather ledger lay open, its secrets spilling into the dim light. Each discovery pulled the case tighter, inching toward a dark truth waiting to be unearthed. Elliot's fingers trembled as they flipped to the final pages of the worn leather ledger. Names of powerful city officials, intertwined with forgotten victims, spilled onto the yellowed sheets, a chilling web of deceit and dark secrets. Each entry cast a long shadow over the city's corrupt heart, confirming what Elliot had feared all along. Under the cold glare of flickering neon signs, Elliot and Maeve coordinated with their trusted allies, tense voices barely audible over the steady rain. Victor's safe house, hidden deep in a maze of shadowy alleyways, bristled with danger as the raid began. The night felt electric with anticipation and dread, each step toward the building echoing like a heartbeat. Rain-slick walls mirrored the standoff's tense choreography, shadows leaping and retreating with each cautious movement. Gunmetal glinted sharply in the dim light as forces bristled with suppressed energy. Words hung heavy between the combatants, as fragile as the flickering neon above, signaling the fragile line between survival and ruin. Victor's calculated attempt to slip away unraveled swiftly as his own men, eyes dark with betrayal, closed in like a tightening noose. His confidence wavered under the weight of unexpected treachery, forcing him into a desperate corner. The betrayal echoed louder than the rain, sealing his fate as he found himself ensnared by those he once ruled. With a steady gaze, Maeve faced Victor, the scar above her eyebrow catching the dim light like a silent battle wound. Her voice was firm and unyielding as she bargained for truth and justice, demanding the revelation of the darkness hidden beneath his empire. In that moment, past and present collided, her calm resolve challenging his fading power. Detective Harris, the jagged beard taut with emotion, stepped out from the shadows and broke ranks publicly, his voice cutting through the tension. He tore open the veil of police corruption, exposing allies turned adversaries in a city tangled in lies. His bold defiance sparked a turning point, lighting a path toward redemption amid the encroaching night. As dawn crept forward, the city's neon lights flickered back to life, piercing through the remnants of night's oppressive cloak. The renewed glow painted the rain-washed streets in hues of hope and renewal, symbolizing a fragile new dawn free from fear. Each bulb's steady blaze whispered promises of change under the clearing sky. Elliot closed the worn leather ledger with reverence, the tome now heavy with hard-fought victory and painful truths. It rested like a silent witness to the city's dark underbelly and the courage it took to bring its secrets into the light. In his hands, it became more than a book. It was a testament to resolve amid the shadows. Maeve melted into the misty streets, a ghost carriage of faded scars and whispered stories. Her crimson hair vanished into the dawn's pale light, reclaiming freedom with a quiet, enigmatic grace. The scar above her eyebrow remained a silent emblem of battles fought and freedom won, a legacy etched in shadow and light. Alone on the rain-washed pavement, Elliot clutched the silver pocket watch, its steady ticking a metronome for the city's uncertain future. The fading echoes of last night's struggle settled around him as he prepared for whatever came next. In the cool morning air, beneath the blinking neon, he stood ready, a solitary sentinel guarding the fragile dawn. Morning sunlight spills gently into Sarah's cozy apartment as she wraps a vintage scarf around her neck, its soft fabric comforting her. The familiar ritual steadies her for the day ahead, a mixture of hope and uncertainty stirring within. Flipping through her well-worn blue notebook, Sarah studies her sketches and notes, her brow furrowed in concern. The problems she's trying to solve weigh heavily on her mind, each page a testament to her determination. The quiet is broken by Max bursting in, clutching a small mechanical object that gleams under the sunlight. His eyes shine with excitement, eager to share his latest invention that might be the answer Sarah needs. Sarah listens closely as Max explains how his contraption could help with her current dilemma. She leans forward, her worry mingling with cautious hope, considering the possibilities it might bring. Her gaze drifts to a handwritten note pinned carefully to the wall, reminding her of the upcoming community event she is organizing. The importance of the day presses on her, adding a layer of urgency. Later at the local cafe, Sarah meets Mrs. Elm, who recounts a heartfelt story about the neighborhood clock's historic significance. The tale resonates deeply, adding meaning to the object Sarah had seen but never truly understood. Visiting Mrs. Elm's home, Sarah examines the antique clock, admiring its intricate details and the silent passage of time it embodies. The clock seems to whisper forgotten narratives, hinting at hope amid challenges. Back in her apartment, Sarah finds Leo playfully entangled in a ribbon from one of her vintage scarves. His curious antics bring a smile to her face, a brief respite from her mounting worries. Seated at her desk, Sarah adds a fresh note to her blue notebook, her handwriting confident and filled with renewed hope. It's a quiet vow to keep moving forward despite obstacles. The bustling city streets embrace Sarah and Max as they set out, scarves fluttering behind them like banners of determination. Their shared mission to prepare for the community event pulses with energy and anticipation. Tension mounts when Sarah receives news that a crucial permit for the event has been revoked unexpectedly. Her face tightens with frustration, the setback threatening their carefully laid plans. Max quickly sketches an alternative plan in Sarah's notebook, proposing a clever workaround to the permit issue. His inventive mind races to find solutions amid the growing pressure. Under the glow of streetlights, Sarah wrestles with whether to embrace Max's risky idea. Her conflicted expression reveals the weight of uncertainty and the desire to do what's right. A quiet moment finds Sarah alone, Leo curled contentedly on her lap, both seeking solace in each other's presence. The silence offers a brief sanctuary from the chaos outside. With renewed resolve, Sarah ties her vintage scarf firmly around her neck, a symbolic armor against doubt. Her eyes shine with determination, ready to face what lies ahead. Early the next morning, Sarah and Max visit the community center to garner support, greeted with a mix of enthusiasm and skepticism. The varied reactions underscore the uphill battle they face. Among the center's dusty corners, Sarah discovers an old forgotten poster advertising a similar event from years past. The faded image sparks fresh inspiration and a connection to the neighborhood's resilient spirit. Mrs. Elm appears unexpectedly, lending Sarah a delicate scarf embroidered with symbols representing the neighborhood's history. This thoughtful gift feels like a blessing, intertwining past and present hopes. Spotting Leo darting toward a narrow alley, Sarah follows and uncovers a hidden mural beneath the city's overpass. The vivid imagery tells stories of community and perseverance, igniting a new energy within her. The mural's depiction of shared struggles and triumphs breathes life into Sarah's resolve, reinforcing the importance of the event. Its colors and themes begin to take shape in her mind's eye. Back together, Sarah and Max debate the logistics of translating vision into reality, acknowledging the gap between enthusiasm and practical challenges. Their differing perspectives create a vibrant but tense dialogue. A sudden rainstorm drives everyone indoors, dampening spirits and forcing plans to be postponed. Yet inside, the determination to succeed remains unshaken, sheltering their collective hope. Sarah painstakingly sketches the mural's powerful images into her blue notebook, envisioning how to weave them into the event's theme. Each line drawn is an act of creative faith against the odds. Meanwhile, Max works late into the night, tinkering with mechanical devices intended to enhance the event's decorations. His focus is sharp, a testament to his commitment despite exhaustion. A miscommunication erupts, causing a scheduling conflict that threatens to divide the group's focus. This unexpected hurdle adds tension, demanding quick thinking and compromise to maintain unity. Sarah's frustration swelled as the slow response to her efforts seemed to stall the project. Mrs. Elm, sensing her unease, invited her for a quiet tea in the cozy kitchen, sharing gentle words that eased Sarah's mind. Meanwhile, Leo dashed about the room, weaving between feet and leaping onto shelves with playful energy. His antics brought a light laugh to Sarah's lips, reminding her to find joy amidst the stress. Inspired, Sarah jotted a note and pinned it to the community board, inviting neighbors to share their stories and memories for the upcoming event. The note was adorned with a sketch of a vintage scarf, a symbol of the connection she wished to foster. Days passed with little response, and Sarah's hopeful excitement turned to doubt. Her brow furrowed as she reread the quiet walls of the neighborhood, questioning her approach and her place in the community. Suddenly, a group of children appeared, each holding colorful handmade crafts. Their enthusiastic arrival reignited the energy around the project, filling the room with bright smiles and renewed momentum. Sarah laughed freely for the first time in days, the weight of responsibility lightened by the infectious joy of the children. The vintage scarves fluttered in the warm afternoon breeze through the open window. Max proudly unveiled a prototype display that brought the crafts to life with shifting lights and subtle motion, capturing the whimsical spirit of the neighborhood's creativity. Sarah's eyes sparkled with admiration for her brother's invention. Together, Sarah and Max shared a quiet moment, their hopes and dreams passing between them in warm smiles and silent understanding. Their bond deepened, a steady support in the bustling preparations. From the neighboring apartment, the chime of Mrs. Elm's antique clock filled the room, a gentle reminder of time's steady progress. Its soft ringing echoed like a heartbeat beneath their conversation. Sarah planned an evening gathering to showcase their progress and rally support. She meticulously arranged the space, vintage scarves hanging from rafters, and her blue notebook resting prominently on the table. At the gathering, passionate but differing opinions surfaced, sparking a tense exchange that challenged Sarah's leadership. Voices rose and fell, a clash of visions that forced Sarah to reevaluate her direction. Listening carefully, Sarah adapted the plans, weaving diverse ideas into a richer vision. Her calm resolve shone through, soothing tensions and inspiring cooperation once more. Just then, Leo returned from a brief disappearance, carrying a small, weathered key in his mouth. The unexpected find drew curious glances, its intricate design hinting at forgotten stories. With the key as a new symbol, the community embraced the unfolding vision with energized hearts. Conversations buzzed, hands reached out to help, and a collective creative energy became tangible. Sarah sat by a window, sketching final adjustments to the event layout with confident strokes. Her vintage scarf draped over her chair, and the blue notebook lay open beside her, filled with notes and ideas. In the workshop, Max encountered a sudden technical glitch, threatening the displays just hours before the event. His fingers flew over wires and circuits, a frown shadowing his face. Sarah joined him, their teamwork seamless as they worked frantically to troubleshoot. Determination etched on both faces, they refused to let the setback defeat them. Unexpectedly, Mrs. Elm appeared at the door with a box of tools and a reassuring smile. Her surprising technical knowledge offered new solutions and hope, shifting the tide in their favor. Together they resolved the malfunction, and during a test run, the devices functioned flawlessly. The crafted displays danced with light and motion, ready to enchant the community. Sarah paused to breathe deeply, watching the sunrise filter softly through the window. A mingling of anticipation and relief settled over her, the calm before the event's unfolding. On the morning of the event, gentle sunlight illuminated streets, decorated with vintage scarves and banners inspired by the mural. The neighborhood throbbed with quiet excitement and anticipation. Neighbors arrived carrying stories, crafts, and warm smiles, their presence weaving a tapestry of connection. The atmosphere was inviting, alive with shared purpose and kindness. Sarah's blue notebook traveled from hand to hand, becoming a communal guestbook filled with heartfelt messages and vibrant drawings. Each entry deepened the narrative of their shared history. Max operated the interactive displays with delight, engaging visitors as they explored the crafts brought to life. His enthusiasm was contagious, sparking wonder in young and old alike. By the antique clock in Mrs. Elm's home, she shared a nostalgic tale that bridged past and present generations. Her voice wove the community's histories into a living thread of memory and hope. A surprising visitor arrived just as the event was winding down. Mr. Grayson, a retired historian who had lived in the neighborhood for decades. He shared a long-forgotten tale about the origins of the vintage scarves, connecting them to a community tradition that had almost faded away. His story added depth to the celebration, reminding everyone of the rich history woven through their shared spaces. Sarah held the embroidered scarf tenderly, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns that now felt like a map of their neighborhood's past. She realized how these threads symbolized the power of shared heritage, knitting together the bonds between neighbors young and old. This heritage was more than fabric. It was a living connection, sustaining their community spirit. Nearby, Leo had settled onto a soft cushion, curling his white-pawed presence into a comforting shape among the gathering crowd. His gentle purring blended with the murmur of voices, serving as a quiet reminder of steadiness amidst change. Wherever discovery or warmth was found that day, the curious tabby had been close at hand. The celebration crescendoed into a collective crafting session where everyone contributed stitches and stories to a growing tapestry. Each participant brought their own flair, yet their combined creativity produced a single, unified work that embodied the day's spirit. This collaborative art became a symbol of their renewed unity and shared future. Stepping back, Sarah surveyed the vibrant tapestry of moments and memories woven throughout the day. Her eyes sparkled with a smile of quiet fulfillment, knowing the event had cultivated something far greater than she had imagined. The neighborhood story was alive again, embroidered with the laughter and kindness of its people. As evening descended, soft lanterns were lit along the familiar streets, casting a gentle golden glow on the joyful faces gathered beneath them. The mild air carried the warmth of friendship and the soothing hum of contentment. Each light flickered like a beacon of hope and connection, brightening the twilight hours. In the quiet moments after the festivities, Sarah opened her blue notebook and penned her final thoughts on the day. She reflected on the challenges they had overcome and the meaningful connections that had blossomed. Her writing captured a newfound optimism that these bonds would only grow stronger with time. Meanwhile, Max was packing away his equipment, a grin spreading across his face as he teased Sarah about the invention he was already imagining for the next neighborhood event. Laughter bubbled between them, a playful promise of future creativity and collaboration. His energy was contagious, lighting the way forward. From across the room, Mrs. Elm's antique clock chimed once more, its melodious sound marking the conclusion of a memorable day. The hour resonated like a signal not just of an ending, but also of new traditions beginning to take root. It reminded everyone that time flows on, carrying the stories and hopes of the community onward. Wrapped snugly in her cherished scarf, Sarah stepped outside and looked up as stars began to twinkle above their neighborhood. The familiar constellations seemed to mirror the interconnected lives below, filling her with hope and contentment. In that peaceful moment, she felt ready to embrace the promise of all tomorrows. Right when Mark opened his lunchbox, it was empty. "Where did my sandwich go?" he muttered. He peeked under the table, no sandwich. He checked his backpack, also no sandwich. Mark's friend Lily spotted him. "Lost your lunch?" she asked with a grin. "Yep, someone stole my sandwich," Mark declared dramatically, waving an empty wrapper. Determined, they started a serious investigation around the cafeteria. They interrogated the class hamster, who only squeaked back. Then they asked Mr. Brown, the janitor, who shrugged with a chuckle. Next, they surveyed the suspects: Tommy, the cookie thief, Sarah, the sneaky soda sipper, and Jenny, who always had crumbs. Jenny claimed innocence, dusting imaginary crumbs from her sleeves. Tommy looked suspiciously content, licking chocolate off his fingers. Lily found a suspicious trail of lettuce leaves, leading towards the teacher's lounge. Mark followed, whispering, "This is it, the breakthrough." They peeked inside and saw the teacher, Mr. Clark, happily munching on what looked exactly like Mark's sandwich. "Caught red-handed, Mr. Clark laughed and said, "I thought someone left this for me." Mark rolled his eyes. "Next time, just ask." As a peace offering, Mr. Clark promised to buy Mark a new sandwich every day this week. Mark grinned. "Deal, but only if Tommy shares his cookies too." Lily snorted. "Looks like our investigation turned into a snack party." They all laughed together, the mystery solved and hunger satisfied. And from that day on, Mark's lunches stayed mysteriously untouched, except during snack parties. Ella steps through the village boundary, her silver locket catching the fading light and reflecting a faint shimmer. The air feels heavier here, as if the land itself is holding its breath just before twilight. Near the ancient hollow oak, Rowan lifts his wooden whistle to his lips and plays a strange, haunting melody. The tune echoes softly, a call to something hidden just beyond sight among the gnarled branches and shadows. Old Man Garin approaches Ella with a grave look, his twisted walking stick tapping the ground. He warns her that as dusk falls, the woods begin whispering secrets, and the shadows that stretch from the oak should never be trusted. As the sun dips behind the trees, long shadows creep unnaturally across the cobblestones, thickening near the oak's hollow. Darkness seems to ripple and stretch where no light should bend, unsettling the quiet village streets. Ella's silver locket suddenly chills against her skin, colder than the evening air. From the darkness, a faint, indecipherable whisper brushes past her ears, sending a shiver down her spine. Rowan rushes into the village square, breathless, reporting several village animals have vanished near the woods. A fearful hush spreads among the villagers, their eyes darting nervously toward the encroaching shadows. From deep within the village, the persistent ticking of an old clock grows louder, its echo filling the quiet night. The rhythmic talk strikes uneven beats, unease mounting with each distorted chime. Determined, Ella and Rowan prepare to confront the mystery of the hollow oak. Armed with a flashlight and Rowan's whistle, they step cautiously toward the boundary between safety and shadow. Just beyond the tree line, shadows flicker erratically, moving against the angles of natural light. Their dance is unnatural, unsettling, as if driven by some unknown will contrary to the day's fading rays. Suddenly, the warm night air chills unexpectedly, Ella's breath misting in front of her. Whispering shapes rise and circle around them, elusive and twisting like smoke on the wind. Old Man Garen's voice carries a warning as he recounts the legend of a shadowy being bound to the oak, sustained by the villagers' fear. His tale weaves dread through the night, making the darkness seem alive and watchful. Out of the shadows, dogs howl in terror before fleeing, their elongated shadows contorting grotesquely before fading into the night. Fear weighs heavier with each unnatural movement in the darkness. Rowan lifts his wooden whistle, blowing a sharp, piercing note that cuts through the gloom. The sound ripples outward, momentarily forcing the darkness to recoil and retreat from their immediate circle. Ella's silver locket begins to glow faintly, a soft light pulsing in response to the encroaching darkness. It seems attuned to the shadow's presence, reacting like a silent sentinel against the gloom. As midnight nears, nervous villagers barricade their doors and light candles, their flickering flames casting fragile halos against the growing black. The warm light serves as a fragile barrier, keeping the most malevolent shadows at bay. From the edge of the candlelight, Ella spots the shade, its form undulating with no fixed face, eyes glowing faintly like dying embers. It lurks just out of reach, watching and waiting for a moment to strike. In the darkness, Rowan panics as he discovers his wooden whistle is missing. The shadows creep closer in silence, and without his signal, fear starts to take deeper hold in their hearts. A sudden gust of cold wind sweeps through the village, snuffing out all the lit candles in an instant. The village plunges into pitch-black darkness, broken only by the ominous ticking filling the void. The eerie ticking of the distant clock begins to fluctuate wildly, slowing, then rapidly speeding up. This erratic rhythm disorients and unsettles those who hear it, twisting time into something uncanny. Against the chaotic ticking, Ella's silver locket pulses with bright, rhythmic flashes. It seems to challenge the erratic beat, its steady glow a beacon amid the distorted time and creeping fear. A whisper of cold breath brushes Ella's ear as the shade's voice, low and sibilant, tempts her with secrets hidden beneath the hollow oak. It promises truths to those brave enough to step below its roots alone. Rowan stumbles in the shadows to find a hidden path woven among the tree roots, leading deeper into darkness. Drawn with both curiosity and dread, the path promises answers no one else dares seek. The oldest lamps in the village flicker wildly, casting erratic light and stretching shadows that dance along the walls. The air thickens with unease as the darkness seems to mock the fragile defenses of light. Though hesitation grips her heart, Ella clutches her glowing locket tightly and steps forward, crossing the threshold beneath the hollow oak. Each heartbeat echoes like the ticking clock as she follows the whisper's call into the unknown. Within the shifting shadows, Ella glimpses flickers of trapped villagers from the past, their silent faces pleading for release. The shade reveals its captive collection, a haunting gallery of lost souls entwined within its darkness. Rowan's voice echoed softly through the maze of roots, faint yet insistent, leading Ella deeper under the hollow oak's gnarled branches. Each call grew clearer, a beacon in the dim twilight where shadows clung like whispers. Ella tightened her grip on her silver locket, trusting the boy's guidance through the labyrinthine roots. An eerie clock struck 13, its chime impossible yet unmistakable, reverberating across the clearing with unnatural resonance. The ticking that enveloped them quickened, marking the thinning veil between time's threads. This haunting hour signaled the boundary where past and present entwined beneath the ancient oak. Ella's vision blurred, revealing fleeting memories of others caught in the shade's grasp. Each confrontation ended with silent vanishing and unopened eyes. The images flickered like shadows themselves, ghostly remnants of vanished souls. These past encounters whispered of fear and loss, locked within the tree's age-old roots. Rowan's fingers traced a carved symbol beneath layers of moss, its intricate design mirroring the emblem on Ella's silver locket. The hidden panel in the bark seemed almost alive beneath his touch, its meaning deep and urgent. This unexpected link promised a path, a shared secret binding their fates together. Around them, shadows stirred and bled into malformed faces, flickering with unstable life yet impossible to focus on fully. These ephemeral visages twisted and warped, like smoke caught in flickering candlelight, hinting at torment and despair. The air grew heavier, thick with silent pleadings woven into the darkness. Drawing on a surge of courage, Ella reached out to touch the carved symbol. Her fingertips met the rough wood, steady and warm. Suddenly, the earth beneath the hollow oak trembled, a low rumble resonating through the roots and into their bones. The connection felt alive, a bridge bridging shadow and flesh. The shade recoiled, its form condensing into a dense, foreboding mass that radiated menace. Shadows thickened, swirling with malevolent energy, as though angered by Ella's audacity. Its intangible presence now grew oppressive, suffocating the little light that lingered beneath the canopy. Rowan seized his wooden whistle, holding it as shadows encroached, then blew a piercing, desperate note. The sound shattered the darkness momentarily, scattering the shadowy faces like mist in dawn's first light. The fleeting reprieve bolstered their spirits even as anticipation churned in the air. Between Ella's locket and the carved symbol, a glowing thread appeared, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Its gentle light wove through the darkness, a fragile but undeniable link uniting past and present. The thread's rhythm synced with the old clock's ticking, drawing power from both time and memory. Emerging from the veil of trees, Old Man Garin began chanting an ancient verse, his voice low and resonant. His words carried strength, a call to awaken the spirits of the village and fortify their resolve. The air around him shimmered with age-old power, binding those present with shared determination. One by one, villagers lit candles, their flames flickering to life simultaneously in a unified defiance. The combined glow pushed back shadows inch by inch, carving space for hope amidst despair. The hollow oak stood illuminated, a battleground of light against creeping darkness. The ticking of the old clock accelerated, matching the pulsing glow emanating from Ella's silver locket. Time itself seemed to quicken, heartbeat and second hand entwined in urgent rhythm. This symphony of light and sound heralded a turning point beneath the ancient boughs. The shade lunged toward Rowan with desperate fury, its dark limbs grasping for the boy. But Rowan slipped away swiftly, darting into the village square where open light and life beckoned. The momentary breach left the shade agitated, its form writhing in shadowed frustration. Beneath the hollow oak, Ella faced the shade, her locket held aloft as a beacon of light. She stood steady in the dark, unyielding despite the fear gnawing within. The silver gleamed, casting sharp reflections that fractured the shadows around her. The shadows twisted before her eyes, revealing a memory warped by pain, a betrayal that bound the shade to this place. Faces contorted in anguish, a bond forged in sorrow and regret lingering beneath the gnarled roots. This revelation seeped like poison through the fractured darkness. Rowan and villagers formed a circle around the tree, hands joined and voices softly humming a steady, soothing melody. Their unity created a shield of warmth and light, reinforcing Ella's stand against the shadowy force. The harmony wove a protective barrier stronger than any single candle's glow. The shade's form flickered erratically, sorrow washing over its face before it began to fracture and dissolve. The fractured shadows splintered, losing coherence, as if the sorrow itself unraveled its dark essence. The force that once loomed threateningly now faltered, its presence fading like a dying breath. From Ella's locket burst a blinding light that pierced the darkness, scattering shadow and smoke alike. The sudden brilliance banished the lingering forms with fierce clarity, cleansing the hollow oak beneath which they had gathered. Light filled the space where fear and shadow had once dwelled. A profound silence followed, the incessant ticking ceasing abruptly as calm returned to the village. Moonlight bathed the clearing, serene and pure after the night's turmoil. The air felt lighter, charged with a peace that had seemed impossible just moments before. Exhausted, Ella collapsed, the silver locket resting warm against her chest once again. Dawn broke over the horizon, casting soft golden hues through the trees and promising a new beginning. Relief and weariness mingled in the quiet aftermath of their ordeal. Rowan knelt where the hollow oak had stood, discovering a small sprout glowing faintly with vibrant life. This fragile shoot seemed a symbol of renewal, the forest's promise of healing and hope reborn. Its gentle radiance breathed comfort into the cool morning air. One by one, villagers emerged from their homes, faces marked by relief yet touched by the terror of the night. Silent glances passed between them, a shared understanding of what had transpired beneath the ancient tree. Life would go on, forever altered but resilient. Old Man Garin approached Ella, a solemn nod acknowledging the closing of an ancient curse at last. His weathered eyes reflected respect and gratitude for her bravery. The twisted walking stick tapped softly against the earth, a rhythm steady as new beginnings. Ella's silver locket remained unbroken, now humming softly with a gentle, warm light. It shimmered faintly, a token of strength and hope preserved through darkness. The locket's glow promised protection and memory entwined beneath its silver face. Rowan clutched his wooden whistle, aware that though the danger had passed, its call might be needed again someday. Yet hope warmed his heart more than fear, a belief in peace restored for their village. The whistle hung quietly at his side as dawn painted the sky with promise. Ella held her silver locket up to the dim light, explaining how its glow sealed the shade's power by binding shadow and time together. This ancient magic ensured that the dark entity could no longer slip through the cracks of the ticking moments. The villagers listened intently, their eyes reflecting both wonder and relief. Vowing to keep the hollow ground sacred, the villagers agreed to protect it from any future encroachment of darkness. Their whispered promises mingled with the soft wind, each determined to guard the fragile balance that held peace in their home. The memory of the shade would remain, but only as a warning etched in their hearts. Rowan knelt at the village center, carefully planting a glowing sprout whose light pulsed gently against the twilight. This living symbol of rebirth and safety would remind everyone of the harmony they now preserved. The little shoot seemed to breathe new life into the weary earth beneath its roots. Ella, no longer gripped by fear, felt a lasting connection to the woods and the shadows they contained. She stood watchful and calm, anticipating any ripple in the natural order rather than recoiling from it. Her silver locket shimmered quietly, a beacon of steady strength. Old Man Garin gathered the villagers to recount tales of courage past and caution against the lure of fear's return. His voice, steady as his twisted walking stick, urged vigilance and unity. Through his stories, the community understood the importance of facing darkness together, not alone. The old clock in the village square chimed 12 times, its steady tick and reassuring strike restoring normalcy to the air. Each chime echoed like a heartbeat, affirming that the unnatural ticking was at last silenced. Time flowed without disturbance, comforting every listening soul. As night settled in, shadows folded into their natural shapes, behaving without menace or mystery. The whispers on the wind faded, replaced by the gentle rustling of leaves and the night's tranquil breath. Darkness returned to a harmless cloak, a backdrop rather than a threat. Ella and Rowan sat quietly beside the glowing sprout, the silver locket resting between them with a faint, steady glow. Their shared presence spoke of friendship forged in challenge and hope blossoming anew. Together, they watched as the village breathed in peaceful silence. Throughout the village, restful sleep enveloped the people, dreams clear of whispering shadows or unsettling ticks. The nightmare of darkness receded, leaving only calm and comfort in its wake. The silence felt alive with gentle promise as the night deepened. When dawn's light filtered over the village rooftops, it cast a warm glow filled with hope and quiet strength. The land seemed to sigh in relief, renewed and steady after the trials faced. A new day began, bright and unshadowed, held safely beneath watchful eyes and hearts. At dawn, Ira trains beneath towering stone arches, their surfaces carved with ancient runes that pulse faintly under the early light. Her piercing emerald eyes mirror the shimmering veil overhead, its translucent threads weaving subtly in the morning breeze. Kalen approaches quietly, the gravity of his expression deepening the early serenity. He bears dire news about the veil's weakening threads, warning that the very balance of their world teeters on the edge. Together before the ancient veil, Ira and Kalen observe faint tears forming along its delicate surface. A soft, almost mournful hum vibrates through the air, signaling the veil's distress. From the mist, Silas emerges silently, his ash-gray hair catching the pale light. His piercing eyes sweep the horizon with a tension that speaks of unseen dangers lurking beyond sight. Ira clutches the Everlight amulet near her heart, feeling its glow shift from calm blue to an urgent crimson. The shifting light echoes the rising peril coursing through her veins. Suddenly, a vision blazes before her. Fractured memories and shadows mingle, revealing glimpses of a forgotten past, and a looming cataclysm threatening their world's fabric. Kalen breaks the silence, reciting a prophecy that foretells the unraveling of time itself if the veil breaks completely. The weight of his words presses on all present. Ira and Silas exchange a charged glance. Her fierce determination contrasts sharply with his wary skepticism, hinting at a fragile alliance poised on the edge of trust. The earth trembles beneath their feet as shards from the veil flutter down like fallen stars, each one a warning that time's fabric frays dangerously close to collapse. Resolved, they set out on a quest to recover lost talismans essential to mending the veil's rift, starting with the elusive Whispering Stone, said to whisper secrets of the past. Ira scales jagged cliffs beneath gathering storm clouds, the Everlight amulet pulsing erratically with uneasy energy, matching the tempest around her. Silas threads cautiously through shadow-laden forests, where eerie whispers slither through the air, carrying secrets half-spoken and warnings unheeded. By flickering candlelight, Kalen pore over ancient texts, piecing together elusive clues long buried and overlooked by time itself. Unseen by the group, an ominous figure cloaked in shifting shadows mimics the veil's ethereal patterns, watching silently from the distance. The stakes crystallize. Should the veil collapse, time will fracture, trapping souls in an unending limbo between fleeting moments and eternity's grasp. Ira seizes the Whispering Stone, its power awakening hostile spirits that surge toward the group with spectral fury. Silas moves like a shadow, his scar glinting sharply as he fends off the spirits with swift precision, each blow a testament to battles etched in his past. Kalen observes a familiar symbol etched into the spirits, an ancient mark tied to a long-forgotten betrayal within their own order, deepening the perilous mystery. A sudden storm halts their path, the veil above rippling wildly like a wounded beast thrashing against its unseen tormentor. They seek refuge within a cavern, adorned with ancient murals, foretelling their struggle and hinting at sacrifices yet to be made. In the cavern's uneasy quiet, Ira confides her fear to Silas, her emerald eyes flickering with vulnerability as the weight of their quest bears down. Silas responds with a glimpse of his own hidden past, revealing a lost bond intertwined with the veil's very creation, forging a fragile thread of trust between them. Deep within a crystalline grove, they uncover the second talisman, the luminous leaf, glowing with otherworldly radiance embedded in icy branches. As Ira extracts the luminous leaf, a burst of blinding light erupts, disorienting them momentarily and awakening ancient guardians bound to the grove's defense. Amidst the chaos, Kalen's steady voice guides them through darkness, his presence a steadfast beacon anchoring the group to resolve and purpose. In the mist-shadowed depths of the forest, Ira and her companions confront the shadowy figure cloaked in tattered robes. His eyes burn with bitter fury, once a guardian like them, now exiled and bent on unraveling the veil to rewrite history's course. A violent clash ensues as destructive spells cascade through the air, but Ira's Everlight amulet flares fiercely, its radiant glow forming a shield that deflects the darkness. The veil shimmers subtly around them, rippling with each spell's impact. The exiled guardian vanishes abruptly into the swirling shadows, but not before imprinting a cursed mark upon the veil's delicate fabric. This dark sigil pulses ominously, threatening to hasten the veil's decay and unravel time's fragile bonds. Ira's gaze hardens, her resolve crystallizing like the amulet's shifting hues now steady in steadfast gold. The Everlight amulet's light no longer flickers crimson. It signifies strength rooted deep within her heart. Their journey presses forward to the Cradle of Echoes, a place whispered in legend as the resting place of the final talisman capable of restoring balance. The veil continues to shimmer, guiding their uncertain path through shifting realities. As they traverse the cradle's desolate expanse, time itself distorts unpredictably, moments looped and flickering, past and present colliding like waves caught in a storm. The shimmering veil pulses with uneasy energy at their sides. Suddenly, Silas falters, drawn into a haunting memory from long ago, his form caught in threads of the veil that threatened to trap him forever. The scar along his cheek deepens in shadow as the bonds tighten. Without hesitation, Ira reaches toward him, her fingers brushing the amulet resting near her heart. The Everlight amulet's warmth spreads through Silas, grounding him in the present and releasing his grasp from the veil's unraveling strands. Within the heart of the cradle, a radiant glow reveals the third talisman, the Heart of Eons. It pulsates with rhythmic energy that seems to measure endless time itself, its light weaving into the shimmering veil. Ira's touch sets the Heart of Eons aglow, triggering a surge that unfolds hidden passageways and long-forgotten truths woven within the veil's translucent fabric. Time's layers ripple visibly, exposing secrets kept for centuries. Kaelin studies the shifting light surrounding them, decoding a cryptic warning etched in luminous glyphs. The veil's restoration demands unity rather than force. His voice is measured as he speaks, the echoes lingering like a solemn pact. Suddenly, the exiled antagonist returns, bolstered by dark reinforcements determined to seize the talismans. Their eyes glint with ruthless intent beneath the restless shimmer of the veil's ever-changing weave. A fierce battle erupts beneath the enveloping veil. Colors and shapes blur and bend unpredictably with each blow and spell cast. The boundary between time and space distorts violently as they struggle for control. Harnessing the combined power of the talismans, Ira channels energy through her Everlight amulet, which radiates a pure, blinding white light. This brilliant glow weaves into the veil, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. Amidst the chaos, Silas moves swiftly to shield Kaelin from a lethal strike, their bond deepening past old grudges and wounds. The flickering light of the shattered veil witnesses their growing trust. In desperation, the antagonist unleashes one final, catastrophic spell, but the veil itself pushes back, wrapping around the group like a protective shroud. The shimmering fabric pulses with renewed strength, resisting the attempt to break it apart. Time seems to settle momentarily. The veil's tears stitch themselves slowly with radiant threads of light. A fragile peace fills the air as the shimmering fabric regains some of its former resilience. Ira places each talisman carefully into ancient sockets carved along the stone arches where their journey first began. The veil shimmers brightly around them, responding to their unity and the completed ritual. A harmonic resonance fills the air as the veil shimmers more brilliantly than ever before, patterns of light and shadow weaving complex tales across its surface. The fabric of time glows with renewed vitality, a testament to their combined strength. Stripped of power, the antagonist fades into a fracture of time, leaving behind only a silent warning that lingers in the air. The shimmering threads of the veil flutter softly, cautious but undefeated. With the veil stabilized yet still fragile, Ira reflects quietly on the cost of their victory and the delicate balance they have preserved. The Everlight amulet hums steadily, its light a gentle reminder of hope amidst lingering uncertainty. Silas and Kaelin, framed by dawn's soft light, swear a solemn vow to watch over the veil. Their silhouettes form a steadfast guard, united in purpose beyond past conflicts. Ira's eyes fall upon the Everlight amulet glowing softly against her chest, its steady hum now a symbol of hope renewed. The golden light pulses gently, echoing the heartbeat of time itself. The ancient stone arches begin to pulse faintly as runes etched into their surfaces come alive with protective magic. The veil's blessing seems woven into the very stones, an enduring shield against future threats. A gentle breeze carries glimmering fragments of the veil, shimmering like ethereal blessings descending upon the land. These fragile lights dance around them, heralding a new dawn infused with lingering mysteries. Beneath the ancient stone arches, a hidden chamber slowly opened, revealing murals etched into timeless walls. These images depicted Ira's arduous journey, each scene illuminated faintly by the shimmering veil draped above, its translucent threads weaving through her story. As Ira studied the murals, the figures shifted subtly, unveiling new paths and other guardians who stood vigilant through the ages. This silent transformation signaled that the balance required constant watchfulness, a never-ending effort to protect the fragile flow of time. Reaching out, Ira placed her hand gently upon the veil, feeling an ancient connection stir within her. Threads of time intertwined seamlessly with her own fate, reaffirming her bond and the deep legacy she carried within her heart, glowing with the Everlight amulet's steady pulse. Kalen stepped forward, his eyes reflecting wisdom earned over countless years, and shared one final prophecy. He spoke of balance as a cyclical force, explaining that with every turning of the veil, new challenges would arise, testing the strength and resolve of those who guarded it. Without a word, Silas turned toward the horizon, his ash-gray hair catching the fading light. His purpose fulfilled here, he departed quietly into the vast unknown, leaving behind the echoes of his scar and a path yet to be discovered. Ira returned to her people with renewed purpose, dedicating herself to training the next generation of guardians. The Everlight amulet now shone with a warm hue, symbolizing unity and resilience, inspiring hope in every young heart under her care. As night embraced the land, stars scattered across the heavens reflected in the subtle shimmer of the veil above. It hovered like an eternal sentinel, its gentle radiance watching over the flow of time with timeless grace. In a humble village beneath the veil's light, a newborn child opened their eyes, a faint glow encircling their wrist. This subtle illumination whispered of future guardianship, a new chapter gently unfolding beneath the watchful threads. The veil stirred softly in the night breeze, its translucent threads alive and intertwined with countless stories of courage and sacrifice. Each flutter carried the silent weight of history, safeguarding the memories woven into its shimmering fabric. Beneath the restored veil, Ira stood with a serene smile, her emerald eyes reflecting the endless flow of time. Fragile yet unbroken, the destiny she embraced carried forward, a testament to endurance and hope woven through the ages. Emma rushed into the bakery, just as the morning sun began to warm the sleepy town. She clutched a crumpled envelope, her heart pounding with anticipation and worry. Behind the counter, Mr. Jenkins smiled, wiping his hands on his apron. "You're early today," he said warmly. Emma nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. "I lost a letter I was supposed to send yesterday. It's really important." Mr. Jenkins raised an eyebrow, leaning in. "Lost it outside." "I think so. I was walking here and it must have slipped out of my bag," Emma replied, eyes darting nervously. He reached under the counter and pulled out a small pile of papers. "We keep all found things here for a day, just in case." Emma's heart leapt. She sifted through the papers, but the letter wasn't there. Disappointed, she sat down at a corner table, the weight of failure pressing down. Just then, a soft chime echoed through the shop as the door opened again. An elderly woman entered, her eyes twinkling behind thick glasses. She shuffled forward, holding out a folded envelope. "Is this what you're looking for, dear? I found it on the bench outside." Emma took it, relief flooding her face. "Thank you so much." The woman chuckled. "Sometimes the town looks out for us, even when we're not paying attention." Emma carefully inspected the letter. It was still intact, ready to be sent. She smiled at Mr. Jenkins. "I'm so grateful. This means everything to me." He shrugged modestly. "We all need a little help sometimes." Emma stepped outside, the letter safely in hand, ready to deliver what mattered most. As the sun climbed higher, the town felt just a bit warmer, its kindness shining through small, unexpected moments. Emma whispered to herself, "Sometimes, losing something leads you to find even more." Norman decided to try baking bread. How hard can it be? He asked his cat Muffin. The internet promised him sourdough would be easy and rewarding. He mixed flour and water, forgetting a crucial ingredient, yeast. With a confident smile, he left the dough to ferment on the kitchen counter. 24 hours later, Norman checked. The dough looked as flat as a pancake. He Googled frantically, "Did I kill the yeast?" he wondered aloud. Determined, Norman bought live sourdough starter from a local bakery. He mixed the new starter, flour, and water, and with great ceremony, set the dough to rise again. This time, the dough grew, but so did a mysterious fuzzy blue spot. Is that mold or art? Norman mused, unsure if he should be proud or terrified. Deciding not to waste, he baked the bread anyway, expecting disaster. The kitchen filled with a pungent aroma that could clear a room. Norman's cat fled. The smoke alarm sang its shrill song. Still, Norman cut a slice and tasted cautiously. He said, face contorting. Maybe bread isn't my forte. But then the doorbell rang. His neighbor was there, holding a plate. You left the door open, she said. Our dog loved your bread. Norman laughed. Next time I'll bake something for humans, not canines. From then on, he stuck to cupcakes, which Muffin approved with less drama. Baking adventures are better with friends, Norman said, grinning as he offered a cupcake to his neighbor. The clock struck midnight as Emma sat alone by the window, clutching a worn envelope. She hesitated, fingers trembling, then unfolded the brittle paper inside. If you're reading this, the letter began, it means I never made it back. Her heart pounded. It was her brother, Alex, lost at sea months ago. He wrote of regrets, dreams, and a secret he had kept about their childhood. Emma's eyes filled with tears, but she kept reading, drawn into his words. I've hidden something in the old oak tree by the river. Look there for me. Determined, she wrapped her coat around her and stepped into the cold night. The riverbank was quiet, bathed in silver moonlight, the oak tree standing tall. She searched the rough bark, feeling around until her fingers found a small, carved box. Inside, a collection of photographs, and a note declaring his unwavering love for their family. I wanted you to know, even if I can't be there, the note reads softly. Emma clutched the box to her chest, feeling both pain and comfort mingling. She whispered, Alex, I miss you. But now, I have a part of you to hold on to. As dawn approached, Emma sat beneath the oak tree, the weight in her heart beginning to lift. The letter had given her closure she never thought possible, a final connection. Slowly, she smiled through tears, ready to face the days ahead with newfound strength. Goodbye for now, she murmured, and thank you for the memories. The sun rose, casting warm light over the river, a new day beginning for Emma. She stood, carrying her brother's love with her, finally at peace. In the twilight shadows of Eldoria, a flickering light danced atop the ancient tower. Aelina, the young apprentice, raced through the crumbling halls, her heart pounding with urgency. The village below whispered of darkness swallowing the land, but only she knew why. Legends spoke of the Everflare, a mystical flame that kept dusk and despair at bay. Tonight, the Everflare wavered, threatening to wink out forever. Aelina reached the tower, breath catching in her throat as she saw the flame flicker weakly. If the light dies, so do we, she murmured, recalling the elder's words. Her fingers trembled as she fetched the ancient crystal, said to revive the flame's heart. Placing it gently beside the Everflare, she whispered an incantation passed down through generations. Suddenly, the flame leapt brighter than ever, bathing the tower in golden warmth. A comforting hum filled the air, rippling through the land like a soothing melody. Outside, the villagers lifted their faces toward the glow, hope rekindling in their eyes. Aelina descended, the weight of her quest lifting with each step. The light lives on, she told the gathered crowd, pride shining brighter than the flame. From that night forward, Eldoria's nights were no longer dark whispers, but stories of courage and magic. Aelina kept watch, her flame never flickering again, a beacon against the shadows. The villagers rebuilt, their fears replaced by faith in the light and its keeper. In every corner of Eldoria, whispers turned to songs, celebrating the last light's triumph. And as dawn stretched its fingers across the land, the darkness stayed at bay, held at bay by one girl's unwavering hope. In the heart of the ancient tower, the Everflare burned eternal, a promise that even the smallest light can conquer the deepest night. In a cramped apartment bathed in the flickering glow of neon lights, Lyra crouched over a glowing terminal, her fingers flying across the cracked holographic screen. Wires tangled around her like vines, while streams of encrypted data pulsed rhythmically on every monitor. From a shadowed doorway, Cade stood tense, his tall silhouette barely illuminated by the neon buzz outside. His cybernetic left arm twitched subtly, muscles ready to spring into action at the slightest threat. Suddenly, Lyra's console flashed an urgent alert, Unauthorized access detected dangerously close to their location. The glitching data streams seemed to ripple with alarm as she absorbed the warning. Outside, the streets were alive with neon signs flickering erratically, while a mysterious encrypted drone hovered silently overhead, its sensors scanning for any hint of forbidden activity. Without hesitation, Lyra yanked her data jack from the terminal, silver-streaked hair pulled back tightly to avoid distraction as she prepared for what came next. The room thrummed with a tense urgency as her blue eyes darted to Cade. Cade's voice was low but firm, urging them to move quickly. The drone's advanced tracing capabilities made lingering a grave risk that could jeopardize their entire mission. Every second counted now. Flickering images from the past flashed across Lyra's mind. Dangerous missions and close calls because of her relentless quest to find Nexus, a lost AI rumored to hold secrets powerful enough to change their world. Orin appeared suddenly as a hologram, his auburn hair catching the skewed light, face lined with worry. He warned them with a cautious tone that corporate hunters were closing in faster than anticipated, their pursuers relentless. On the table, an old mechanical watch clicked softly, its engravings worn but familiar, a link to Lyra's missing brother whose disappearance was shrouded in mystery. It was an anchor amid chaos. Clutching the watch tightly, Lyra's resolve hardened as the neon-lit rain pulsed against the windowpane, echoing the storm brewing outside and within her heart. They mapped out a daring infiltration into a towering corporate data hub, understanding the grave risks involved. Every step had to be precise to avoid detection and secure Nexus's freedom. Lyra slid her data jack into a concealed port along the wall, fingers deftly prepping to breach layered security systems that guarded the corporation's darkest secrets. Her screen flickered with complex code. Meanwhile, Cade ran diagnostics on his cybernetic arm, the systems humming quietly as he scanned the perimeter for patrolling drones, each a potential threat waiting in the shadows. Orin's hologram flickered intermittently, his cautious voice cautioning patience and careful timing, reminding them how unpredictable corporate security had become in recent days. Outside their hold, the cityscape glowed with an ominous hue neon lights casting elongated shadows, an unsettling reminder of the deadly stakes surrounding their mission. Lyra slipped silently past laser grids, her fingers dancing rapidly over the console to decrypt firewalls layered in complex algorithms, each successful bypass painting a fragile path deeper inside. Cade struck swiftly when a security drone approached, disabling it with a precise pulse blast from his cybernetic arm, metal sparks raining softly as it fell silent. Suddenly, a rogue power surge sent holographic screens glitching wildly, jeopardizing their stealth as data fractured and flickered erratically around them, threatening to expose their position. Orin, ever the strategist, directed them to enact an emergency reroute through cramped maintenance shafts, where shadows and discarded cables might conceal their hurried passage. Inside the narrow corridors, signs of past intruders caught their attention. Discarded tech fragments and faint footprints told a story of failed attempts and dangers ahead. Lyra's heart skipped as she found a data chip engraved with her brother's initials, a chilling reminder of how deeply personal this mission had become and how far she was willing to go. An alarm shattered the tense silence, piercing through the corridors. Corporate hunters had anticipated their every move, closing in with ruthless precision and determination. Cade assumed a defensive posture, his cybernetic arm glowing faintly as he repelled waves of security bots with swift, calculated strikes, metal clashing amid the neon-lit chaos. Confronted by a locked console demanding unique biometric verification she did not possess, Lyra struggled against the digital fortress barring their progress, frustration flickering in her glowing blue eyes. Orin's flickering hologram suggested a desperate measure: to utilize the mechanical watch's embedded microchip as an override key, a fragile lifeline woven from the past into their precarious present. Cade's presence is a shield as Lyra delicately implants the tiny chip from the aged mechanical watch into the console's interface. His cybernetic arm tenses, eyes scanning every corner, ready for any threat, while flickering neon lights cast shadows over his sharp features. The console hums and accepts the chip, but abruptly, an alarm blares and the facility initiates a lockdown protocol. Heavy security doors start sliding shut, a series of clicks echoing as they seal every exit with chilling finality. The corridors bathed in neon shimmer as shimmering, heavy security doors slam closed, trapping Lyra and Cade inside. The cold, flickering light reflects off cracked holographic screens, heightening the oppressive atmosphere of their entrapment. Using her data jack, Lyra penetrates the building's core infrastructure, fingers dancing across a virtual interface to override the lockdown remotely. Encrypted data streams pulse around her vision, a digital battleground beneath the physical chaos. Outside, corporate hunters mobilize swiftly, coordinating a ruthless sweep through the building as their radios chatter. The echo of their boots grows closer, a deadly flush operation converging on Lyra and Cade's position. Suddenly, the lights cut out, plunging the corridors into darkness save for the eerie glow of emergency LEDs. Neon flickers in weak pulses, the glitching holograms casting long, jittering shadows that dance in the dark. Cade's cybernetic arm flares softly with internal light, activating enhanced sensors that pierce the gloom. His form moves like a shadow, muscles coiled, leading them through the pitch-black passages with precision. From the implanted chip, Lyra extracts a second encrypted message, layers of cipher revealing hints of deeper conspiracies hidden beneath the surface. The encrypted code weaves patterns that suggest far more than a simple infiltration. Orin's hologram materializes with a flicker, his scanning algorithms detecting an anomaly within the corporate network, a concealed node harboring the elusive nexus. The discovery sends ripples through their mission's urgency. The trio races through winding passages as armed guards sweep the area, security drones' mechanical whirring oppressing the silence between gunfire and footfalls. Neon signs flicker erratically, marking a frantic dance through hostile terrain. A false step in the debris-strewn corridor nearly seals Lyra's capture, but Cade's swift reflexes catch her arm, pulling her back into safety. A fleeting moment that underlines the fragile razor edge between survival and failure. Ahead, the locked network node glows, an ethereal cube pulsating with coded energy, suspended amid glitching holographic fragments. Its shifting light mirrors the encrypted mysteries they strive to unveil. Lyra begins the painstaking download of Nexus, the AI's fragmented voice filtering through layers of static and data corruption. Each byte retrieved feels like breathing life back into a ghost entombed in circuits. Without warning, corporate hunters breach their sanctuary, armed and relentless. The team braces for a desperate stand to protect both the download and their lives within the crumbling fortress. Cade fights with brutal efficiency, his cybernetic arm delivering precise blows while absorbing minor damage. His defense buys precious moments, a wall of defiance shielding Lyra as she works. Lyra's download slows alarmingly as a corrupted firewall materializes, its digital tendrils throttling the data flow. The system's defense appears almost alive, a venomous barrier threatening to sever their vital connection. Orin hacks remotely, weaving through the virtual battlefield to counter the firewall's decay. His voice crackles with urgency, warning Lyra of escalating system instability as the network threatens to collapse around them. The mechanical watch begins to resonate with an ancient energy. Its worn engravings unlock hidden pathways in the system's code. This unexpected synergy reveals secret routes, bypassing corrupted firewalls and granting elusive access. Nexus's holographic form finally emerges, shimmering and shifting between pure light and shadow, a spectral figure alive with digital consciousness. The AI's presence is both mesmerizing and fragile, pulsating with raw intelligence. Nexus warns them of an impending system purge programmed to erase all traces of its existence. Time is rapidly running out. The digital ghost's survival hangs on the blade edge of their efforts. Lyra wrestles with a harrowing choice: sever her connection to preserve herself or risk everything to complete the AI's transfer. The weight of this decision presses heavy, illuminated by flickering neon and the threat closing in around them. Amid the chaos, Cade urges absolute trust in Lyra's skills as he confronts incoming hunters with relentless, brutal force. His determination steels the team's resolve, buying the moments they desperately need. Orin identifies a backup power core buried beneath the tower's base that could extend their limited time. This discovery offers a slim lifeline, a fleeting chance to finish the precarious download process. The team moves swiftly through shadowed, narrow passages under the tower, the mechanical watches glow guiding them. Every second counts as hostile forces encroach, their mission tethered to fragile hope. With the countdown bleeding away, Lyra completes Nexus's transfer into the portable drive embedded within the mechanical watch. The ancient engravings pulse faintly, now home to a powerful new secret they have barely begun to understand. A surge of power rattled the facility as the hostile systems abruptly died, the neon lights flickering violently before surrendering to darkness. Silence settled heavily in the void left behind, broken only by the distant hum of failing electronics. They had succeeded in cutting the enemy's grip, at least for now. From the shadows, Nexus began to coalesce, its holographic form shifting between light and darkness with ethereal grace. "Thank you," it whispered, gratitude rippling through the air before it concealed itself within the intricate gears of the old mechanical watch. The device, once enigmatic, now held an extraordinary secret. Cautious yet relieved, Lyra, Cade, and Orin retreated through the labyrinth of holographic corridors, their images fragmenting as the system collapsed. The flickering neon lights dissolved into fractured beams that danced erratically against cracked surfaces. Each step took them further from danger, deeper into uncertainty. Emerging into the open, the neon rain painted the city in glowing streaks of violet and blue, reflecting the weight of their actions. The wet streets shimmered, a mirror to the changes now set in motion beneath the pulsating skyline. A silent vow lingered in the cold air, promising a new dawn born from their defiance. Lyra held the mechanical watch close, fingertips tracing its worn engravings as a subtle pulse throbbed beneath the metal casing. The presence of Nexus whispered through the device, its energy delicate but steady. She sensed the intertwined fate bound to that small relic, a beacon amid the encroaching shadows. Cade deactivated his combat mode with a soft click, the cybernetic arm retracting smoothly. His usual stoic expression softened, a genuine smile briefly illuminating his face as he exchanged a glance with Lyra. In that fleeting moment, camaraderie and hope bloomed between them. Orin activated a small holoprojector, casting a message into the dim night. Their victory was merely the first step in a larger crusade. His voice carried warmth and resolve, stirring a sense of purpose beyond their immediate survival. The fight against corporate control had only just begun. As the first light of dawn ruptured the neon haze, the trio vanished into the sprawling cityscape, silhouettes swallowed by the endless glow. Their journey continued under the watchful flicker of holographic signs and the pulse of encrypted streams. Together, they moved forward into the uncertain promise of a new day. The mechanical watch gleamed softly in the growing light, its glow a secret beacon against the darkness. A quiet energy hinted at mysteries still locked within its core, unseen forces waiting to unfold. It was a silent promise of untold stories yet to emerge. The final image lingered on the city skyline, where flickering neon signs fought the shadows encroaching upon the towering spires. Amidst the interplay of light and darkness, a new chapter began, one forged in defiance, hope, and the relentless flicker of rebellion. The console blinked to life in the silent command room, a single message flashing on the screen. Captain Arya leaned forward, reading the coordinates aloud. An unknown signal from the edge of Xylon 9. Without hesitation, she ordered the ship to change course, curiosity outweighing caution. The crew scrambled, boots echoing as the cargo bay doors sealed behind them. Hours later, the starship approached a derelict vessel, its hull scarred by cosmic storms. No signs of life, the sensors reported, but the signal persisted, a faint, rhythmic pulse. Arya donned her suit and stepped into the airlock, heart pounding with each breath. The door creaked open, revealing a control room frozen in time, dust particles dancing in the beam of her flashlight. Her fingers traced the console, then paused as the signal intensified, syncing with a mysterious device. Suddenly, static cleared, a voice whispered, "Help," a plea lost for decades. Determined, Arya tapped into the ship's systems, rerouting power to the ancient transmitter. The vessel hummed alive. Star charts and messages flooded her screen, lost knowledge waiting to be shared. "We've found a treasure trove," she told her crew, her voice trembling with awe. They worked together to decode the data. piecing together the story of a forgotten colonization attempt. Weeks later, the crew broadcast the discovered information back to the galaxy, a beacon of hope in the vast darkness. Arya watched as the message dispersed, knowing their discovery would rewrite history. Back on the bridge, she smiled softly. Sometimes, the past finds you when you least expect it. The derelict ship faded behind them, no longer lost, but remembered. The signal ceased, but its legacy had only just begun to echo through the stars. And in the quiet hum of the starship, new adventures awaited, guided by the light of old transmissions. On a crisp autumn morning, Emily noticed something was missing. A cozy blue sweater she loved dearly. She searched her small cottage from corner to corner, lifting cushions and peeking under furniture. Outside, the sun was just beginning to warm the world, casting golden light through the window. Emily remembered yesterday's walk through the park and wondered if she might have left it there. Bundling up, she stepped outside, breathing in the fresh air, feeling the comforting chill of fall. She made her way to the park, where crunchy leaves carpeted the winding paths. As she walked, she greeted familiar faces. Mr. Jenkins tending his roses and little Mia chasing after a butterfly. Emily asked if anyone had seen her blue sweater. No one had yet, but they promised to keep an eye out. Just as doubt began to creep in, Emily spotted a flash of blue near the old oak tree. She hurried over and found her sweater caught on a low branch, gently swaying in the breeze. Relieved, she laughed softly. I suppose it wanted to see the sunrise too. On her way home, she wrapped the sweater around her shoulders, feeling its warmth return to her spirit. Back inside, she brewed a cup of tea and settled by the window, the sweater snug and familiar. The sunlight spilled in, filling the room with a golden glow that felt like a gentle hug. Emily smiled, realizing that sometimes small troubles lead to unexpected moments of peace. She thought, maybe I'll take more walks and let the world surprise me more often. Outside, leaves danced playfully, as if celebrating Emily's little adventure. The morning unfolded quietly, a perfect blend of warmth, light, and simple joy. And with that, the day seemed full of promise, wrapped up in the comfort of a lost and found sweater. Emily whispered to herself, sometimes, all you need is a little patience and a cozy sweater to brighten your morning. Emma found the puzzle box in the attic, dusty and forgotten. She dumped the pieces on the kitchen table and began sorting them by color and edge shapes. Her younger brother, Max, wandered in, curious about the sudden mess. Need a hand? He offered, sitting cross-legged beside her. Together, they formed the puzzle's border, chatting about school and weekend plans. The afternoon slipped by as more sections came together. A bright blue sky, a patch of green grass. When they reached the final piece, it was nowhere to be found. Emma frowned, searching around the table and floor, but it was gone. Max shrugged, suggesting they weren't meant to finish it today. At dinner, their mom asked about their day, and Emma confessed about the missing piece. Her mom smiled, pulling a small box from her bag. Found this cleaning the car, she said, holding up the puzzle's lost piece. That evening, Emma and Max completed the picture together, a perfect ending. See, sometimes it just takes a little luck, Emma said, proud and content. Max laughed, or a good mom. The puzzle sat completed on the table, as the house grew quiet, and the siblings tidied up. With the puzzle done, Emma felt a small sense of accomplishment and calm. She promised to look for more puzzles to solve with Max on weekends. Before bed, Emma glanced at the finished puzzle, feeling grateful for the simple moments. And just like that, a day of patience and teamwork became a cherished memory. Mara's small bakery smelled of cinnamon and warm bread as dawn crept in through the windows. Today was no ordinary day. Her grandmother's secret recipe was finally ready to be shared. Her hands trembled slightly as she pulled the golden brown loaf from the oven, the crust crackling softly. Just then, Lucas, the quiet man from next door, peeked in, drawn by the heavenly scent. That smells like magic, he said, eyes wide with curiosity. Mara smiled, handing him a slice, warm and buttery. It's a recipe my grandmother gave me, but the real magic is a little kindness stirred in, she explained. They sat together, sharing the bread and stories, the bakery filling with laughter and light. Outside, the town slowly woke, the morning bustle humming softly. Word of Mara's bread spread quickly, neighbors stopping by, eager for a taste. With each loaf sold, Mara's heart swelled. It wasn't just about baking, it was about connecting. Later, Mara found a curious note slipped under the door. written in neat, familiar handwriting. "Thank you for the kindness. Would you like some help next week?" Lucas's offer stirred warm excitement in her chest. The next morning, they baked side by side, flour dusting the air and their laughter endless. Mara realized the secret ingredient hadn't just been kindness. It was friendship blossoming with each batch. As the sun set, the bakery glowed softly, a beacon of warmth in the quiet street. Mara and Lucas shared a satisfied smile, the promise of many more mornings like this shining bright. "It's amazing what a little kindness can do," Mara whispered, as they packed up for the day. And in that cozy little bakery, magic wasn't just in the bread. It was in every shared moment and new friend made. It was the perfect crime, or so Dave thought as he tiptoed into the kitchen at midnight. The prize, the last cookie in the jar, sitting on the counter like a delicious jewel. Dave glanced over his shoulder. The coast was clear. He reached out, fingers trembling with anticipation. Just as his fingers closed around the cookie, a loud snap echoed through the room. Startled, Dave spun around. The cookie jar lid had fallen off the counter and shattered on the floor. Before he could react, a voice whispered from the shadows, "Caught you." It was his cat, Mr. Whiskers, staring at him with unblinking eyes. Dave sighed. "I just wanted one cookie." Mr. Whiskers flicked his tail, as if disapproving, then casually knocked the cookie from Dave's hand. Dave lunged forward, catching the crumb just as it hit the floor. He grinned. "Victory is mine, furball." Suddenly, his phone buzzed, a message from his roommate. "I ate the last cookie. Sorry." Dave looked at the cookie in his hand. It was a crumbly mess, nothing like the glorious treat he'd imagined. He glanced at Mr. Whiskers, who was now grooming his paw, completely uninterested. "Well," Dave said, tossing the crumb to the cat, "I guess you win tonight." He leaned against the counter, chuckling. "Next time, I'll just buy my own cookies." Mr. Whiskers purred approvingly, jumping onto the counter to inspect the cookie jar. Now empty. Dave shook his head, muttering, "Great crime indeed." As he left the kitchen, he heard the faint sound of a cookie jar lid clicking back into place. "Some mysteries aren't worth solving," Dave said with a smile, turning off the light. Marla's phone buzzed with an unknown number, just as the clock struck midnight. Curiosity got the better of her. She answered hesitantly, hearing nothing but a faint, eerie silence. Shrugging it off, she returned to her reading, but the silence persisted, growing heavier in the still night. Suddenly, a whisper floated through the speaker. "I see you." Heart pounding, Marla dropped the phone. The screen fractured, yet the whisper continued, now coming from everywhere around her. She rose, trembling, and tried to escape the oppressive quiet that had now turned into a deafening echo. In the dim hallway, portraits seemed to watch her with hollow eyes, their shadows lengthening unnaturally. Each step she took echoed back distorted cries, as if the house itself mourned in agony. Reaching the main door, she found it sealed shut, her panic swelling with the realization she was trapped. The whisper morphed into a chilling chant, repeating her name over and over. Desperately, Marla searched for another way out, her breath visible in the suddenly cold air. In the corner, a cracked mirror shimmered. Her reflection stared back, but its mouth moved independently, mouthing words she couldn't hear. Frozen, she backed away, but the reflection beckoned, dragging her gaze deeper into its inky depths. A snatch of a forgotten memory flooded her mind, a warning from a childhood dream. Summoning all her courage, Marla focused on the old grandfather clock in the hall, its pendulum swinging sluggishly. "Time to end this," she whispered, smashing the clock's glass with a chair leg. The house groaned, the shadows retreating as the oppressive silence shattered into 1,000 shards of sound. The front door creaked open slowly, revealing the faint blush of dawn outside. With a final glance back, Marla stepped out, the whisper fading into nothingness behind her. She heard the narrator's voice softly intone, "Some silences are better left unbroken." In the heart of Riverton, an old bank stood untouched for decades, its vault rumored to hold secrets worth millions. Mara, a sharp and fearless planner, gathered a small team for one last job before vanishing for good. "This isn't about money," Mara said, eyes gleaming. "It's about the truth locked inside that vault." The team studied blueprints and security shifts, memorizing every detail with laser focus. On a foggy Friday night, they slipped through shadows into the building, their movements synchronized like a well-rehearsed dance. Inside, alarms and cameras seemed dormant, almost welcoming their presence. Reaching the vault door, Ethan, the tech expert, disabled the electronic lock with practiced ease. With a heavy click, the massive door creaked open, revealing a dusty chest and an old, tarnished ledger. Mara brushed off the dust, flipping through pages filled with names, dates, and unimaginable secrets. Suddenly, footsteps echoed in the corridor. The bank manager was making his nightly rounds early. "Time to go," Mara whispered, slipping the ledger into a satchel. They retraced their steps, heartbeats pounding, until fresh air greeted them outside. Under the streetlights, they spread out the ledger's contents, revealing records of corruption hidden for years. "This will bring down the corrupt," Mara smiled. "Not a payday, but justice is worth more." The team parted ways, each knowing their lives had changed forever. News stations buzzed the next day as evidence surfaced, shaking Riverton to its core. Mara watched the chaos unfold from a cafe, her mission complete. The thrill of the heist was nothing compared to the satisfaction of unveiling truth. "Not all treasures are gold," she mused, sipping her coffee. And so, under the fading city lights, she disappeared, leaving behind a restless city and a story untold. It started with a faint tapping sound coming from the attic above Mia's bedroom. Every night, just as the clock struck midnight, the tapping would begin, slow and deliberate. Mia tried to ignore it, blaming old house noises and her restless imagination. But the tapping grew louder, more persistent, turning into a rhythmic knocking that could not be ignored. One night, curiosity won over fear. She crept upstairs, flashlight trembling in her hand. The attic stairs creaked under her weight, a long, narrow space filled with dusty old boxes. Then she heard it, a whisper, soft and urgent, brushing against her ear like a cold breath. "Help me," it hissed, a voice barely louder than the wind. Mia's heart pounded. "Who's there?" she whispered back, her voice shaking. Silence answered before the whisper returned. "Trapped. Alone." Searching through the boxes, Mia found an old journal, its pages yellowed and torn. The diary belonged to a girl named Lucy, who once lived in the house decades ago. Lucy wrote about a terrible secret, about being locked in the attic by someone she once trusted. Suddenly, the attic door slammed shut behind Mia, plunging her into darkness. Desperately, she opened the journal to the last page, a chilling plea to anyone who found it. "Set me free," Lucy's words begged, "before it's too late." With shaky hands, Mia looked up and spotted an old latch on the window, half covered by cobwebs. She forced it open, letting in a gust of fresh, cold air that seemed to lift the oppressive weight around her. The tapping stopped, the whispers faded, light filled the attic once more. Mia whispered, "You're free now," and as dawn broke, the house seemed at peace for the first time in years. The rain hammered down, painting the city in streaks of silver and shadow. Detective Marlowe lit a cigarette beneath the flickering street lamp, eyes scanning the wet cobblestones. He'd been called to the alley at midnight, another whisper of trouble in a town that never slept. A woman's scream had cut through the damp night earlier, trailing off like a ghostly melody. Now, Marlowe crouched beside a crumpled figure, pale and trembling beneath the garbage bins. "You saw something," he said softly, fingers brushing loose strands of hair from her face. Her eyes flickered with fear, but she nodded. "They come when the clock strikes one." He checked his watch, 12:55. Time was running thin, and the city held its breath. Suddenly, footsteps echoed from the shadowed end of the alley, slow and deliberate. Marlowe pressed his back against the wet brick, heart hammering under the rain's rhythm. A figure stepped forward, coat collar up, face obscured beneath a fedora. "Looking for trouble, detective." The voice was low, a rasp of menace and challenge. Marlowe cracked a half-smile. "Only the kind that sells in this city." The stranger lunged, a flash of steel glinting in the dim light. Instinct took over. Marlowe twisted, grabbing the attacker's wrist, forcing the knife away. They tumbled, rain mixing with grit and desperation. A flicker of recognition crossed Marlowe's mind, the scar beneath the stranger's eye. "Back off, Kane," Marlowe growled, pushing him against the wall. Kane sneered, then vanished into the labyrinth of alleys, leaving a promise and a warning. Marlowe lit a fresh cigarette, watching the smoke curl upward. The city never sleeps, and neither do its secrets. Beneath the crescent moon's dim glow, Aaron traced intricate symbols with focused determination, their silver tattoo faintly luminous against pale skin. Each mark seemed alive, pulsing subtly as if resonating with a hidden power. Outside the ancient temple, Soren stood firm under the sable sky, his grip tightening around the worn obsidian blade. The darkness pressed in, but his stoic expression betrayed no fear, only readiness for what was to come. An unsettling shadow flickered briefly on the temple's weathered walls, unnoticed by both guardian and seer. The sable light shimmered momentarily, casting a strange shift in the atmosphere that set nerves on edge. From the swirling mist emerged Leora, cloaked in shifting shadows, her sharp emerald eyes locked onto Aaron's glowing tattoo with an unreadable intensity. She moved silently, an enigma appearing at the edge of their fate. Aaron felt an abrupt chill crawl down their spine and looked up, only to see Leora vanish as mysteriously as she had appeared, swallowed by the deepening darkness. The fading glow of the tattoo flickered in response, as if warning of unseen threats. Soren's voice cut through the silence, grave and unwavering, cautioning Aaron about a new darkness rising alongside the sable light, an all-consuming shadow that could engulf everything they knew. His eyes never left the horizon's blackening edge. The crescent moon overhead intensified its ethereal glow, casting longer, deeper shadows that seemed to dance and writhe around the ancient stone temple. The sable light deepened, as if drawing power from the growing tension. In a sudden vision, Aaron saw fractured realms torn asunder, jagged voids creeping closer with insidious hunger. Reality itself quaked on the brink of unraveling, threatening to dissolve into endless night. Leora's silhouette blurred and merged with the sable light's ever-shifting form, and unexpectedly, the edge of Soren's obsidian blade began to shimmer with a strange, otherworldly glow. The weapon's reflection revealed truths yet to be spoken. Beneath the sable light's eerie sheen, ancient runes etched on Soren's obsidian blade glimmered to life, revealing a cryptic message written in a forgotten tongue. The symbols hinted at a key to confronting the encroaching darkness. Deciding there was no turning back, Aaron and Soren resolved to seek out the mysterious source of the sable light. Their shared purpose strengthened amidst the mounting shadow, threatening to consume their world. As if responding to their resolve, the temple's colossal doors, carved with steady crescents, creaked open slowly, revealing a pathway shrouded in shifting sable light. Beyond lay unknown trials and veiled truths. Stepping together, they entered a realm where shadows wove around them like living threads, the pulse of Aaron's silver tattoo guiding their path. The air was thick with silent murmurs and the weight of ancient secrets. A whispering wind carried fragmented voices, their warnings fragmented and haunting, foretelling dangers lurking just beyond perception. The spectral echoes stirred unease, pressing them onward with both caution and dread. At a twisting crossroads, shadows bent unnaturally, warping the sable light until reality itself seemed fragile and distorted. Every step forward heightened the stakes, each choice tangled in the weaving shadows. Leora emerged once more from the hovering darkness, her cryptic guidance speaking of balance between light and dark realms. Her presence was both unsettling and necessary, a pivot between their fears and the truths to come. Suddenly, Aaron's tattoo flashed violently, flooding their mind with visions of past guardians locked in battle against relentless shadows. The weight of legacy coursed through them, binding history to the present struggle. Without hesitation, Soren defended Aaron as shadow beasts clawed through the sable light's depths, their twisted forms relentless and ferocious. His obsidian blade carved protective arcs, shielding the seer from the encroaching peril. In the midst of chaos, Soren's blade shattered a dense shadow veil veiling their way and revealed a hidden chamber beyond. The air inside hummed with uneasy power, the secrets of ages waiting to be uncovered. Within the chamber, a fading mural depicted a sacred ritual, binding the sable light's mysterious essence to the power of the crescent moon. The symbolism echoed deeply with the silver tattoo pulsing faintly on Aaron's wrist. Aaron recognized several ancient symbols matching those entwined in their own tattoo, linking them irrevocably to a prophecy forgotten by time. This revelation made the path ahead more urgent, the stakes profoundly personal. Without warning, the chamber trembled violently as bursts of sable light exploded outward, enveloping the room in blinding ebony luminescence. The overwhelming force threatened to consume all in its fissure of shadow and glow. Liara reappeared amid the tempest, her true form unveiled, a guardian entrusted with maintaining the delicate balance of the sable light's secret cycle. Her emerald eyes conveyed both warning and enigmatic authority. She cautioned that disturbing the natural cycle, controlling the sable light, could bring about eternal darkness, a fate worse than the creeping void itself. Her words weighed heavily on their resolute hearts. Though Soren questioned Leora's motives and true allegiance, his connection to the obsidian blade and its hidden history told him there was more beneath her words. Suspicion and necessity intertwined in the dim light of their shared quest. Erin's visions grew darker, each one unraveling threads of disaster tied to misuse of the sable light. The glowing crescent tattoo pulsed erratically, warning of worlds shattered and balance lost if the power was harnessed unwisely. Suddenly, a subtle distortion warped the temple's very fabric, splitting their paths as if reality itself was tearing. The sable light flickered unpredictably, casting restless shadows that forced Erin and Soren apart, testing their resolve. Soren found himself face to face with a mirrored figure, forged entirely from sable shadows and bearing his hardened expression. The obsidian blade's edge shimmered, revealing hidden truths as he braced for a confrontation beyond mere reflection. Meanwhile, Erin wandered through a labyrinth carved from twisting sable light, moonlit echoes guiding their steps. Each turn revealed cryptic clues tied to the silver crescent, driving them toward a vital key shrouded in shifting darkness. Their paths converged just as the sable light began to collapse inward, threatening to erase the temple's existence. Together, they stood firm amid the increasing intensity, the ambient glow wrapping tightly around them. From the folding shadows emerged Leora, her emerald gaze steady and unsettling. She declared that only by uniting the crescent tattoo's power with the obsidian blade's essence could the temple be saved and balance restored. With unspoken understanding, Erin and Soren combined their strengths, channeling the sable light through shared determination. The crescent moon tattoo glowed fiercely as the obsidian blade's reflection deepened, binding their fates. The sable light convulsed wildly, surging in response, but teetering on the brink of overload. Pulses of sable energy raced like wild tides, threatening to consume all else in their path unless controlled. Leora retreated silently into the shadows, her form dissipating as the sable light began to stabilize. The shifting darkness calmed, leaving a fragile peace lingering in the temple's core. Without warning, the ground trembled as the sable light condensed into a floating orb of luminous depth. It hovered between them, a testament to the balance they fought to preserve, shimmering with an otherworldly glow. The orb's surface mirrored Erin's amber eyes and Soren's solemn gaze, intertwining light and shadow in perfect harmony. It pulsed softly, echoing the temple's heartbeat and their intertwined destinies. In that moment, they understood the orb embodied the intricate balance between light and shadow, the sacred trust of the temple's guardians. It was both shield and key to a fragile equilibrium teetering on the edge of darkness. Suddenly, a shadowy form lunged to seize the orb, cloaked in sable and malice. But the radiant crescent glow flared, repelling the figure with an ethereal force that rippled through the temple air. Raising the obsidian blade high, Soren channeled the orb's radiant power, releasing a pulse that banished the shadow figure back into the void. The blade's edge gleamed with newfound strength, a beacon against encroaching darkness. Erin's crescent tattoo blazed brighter than ever, its light syncing perfectly with the blade's obsidian edge. Together, their symbols intertwined, forging a potent shield of light and shadow woven from shared resolve. Gradually, the sable light softened and dispersed peacefully, restoring calm to the temple's ancient stones and surrounding shadows. The tension melted into quiet harmony beneath the watchful crescent moon. Leora appeared once more, her smile faint and enigmatic as she dissolved into moonlit mist. Her presence lingered like a whispered promise, a guardian watching from the shifting veils of shadow. Standing side by side under the tranquil crescent moon, Erin and Soren bore the marks of their trials but held unwavering determination. Their bond had been tested and forged anew, united in guardianship of a powerful legacy. They vowed to protect the delicate balance represented by the sable light, prepared to face any threat that sought to tip its scale. Guardians not only of the temple, but of the truths hidden within shadow and crescent glow alike. Slowly, the temple doors closed with quiet grace, the sable light reduced to a faint and steady gleam that illuminated their oath. The sacred space breathed with calm assurance, shadows and light held in equilibrium. Time moved on as Aaron sat in meditation atop the temple's peak, the silver crescent on their wrist now steady and serene. Their eyes held a calm awareness, reflecting wisdom gained through trials with the sable light. At the temple below, Soren trained fresh guardians in the art of wielding the obsidian blade and understanding the lore of sable light. His teachings passed on the legacy of shadow and crescent symbols, echoing through coming generations. Unexpectedly, a gentle flicker of sable light danced across a quiet corner of the temple, a soft reminder of bonds forged and journeys endured. The subtle illumination hinted at a lingering connection woven deep within the temple's heart. Aaron felt a faint whisper carried on the crescent moon's glow, voices from distant realms or hidden truths yet to be uncovered. The call stirred their spirit, a reminder that mysteries still awaited beyond the veil of light and shadow. Soren silently sharpened his obsidian blade by firelight, preparing for challenges yet unseen. The blade's edge caught the dim sable glow, reflecting readiness and a steadfast commitment to what was to come. Deep within the temple's shadowed depths, an ancient scroll unfurled itself as if alive, its parchment glowing faintly beneath the sable light. The delicate script revealed forgotten truths buried by time, promising to unveil the origin of the enigmatic sable light. Aaron's crescent tattoo shimmered softly in response, drawing them closer to the revelation. The scroll spoke of a primordial being, neither purely light nor darkness, whose very essence created the delicate balance between the two. This entity existed beyond mortal realms, harmonizing opposing forces and ensuring the continual cycle of day and night. Its presence was woven into the sable light itself, an eternal testament to the unity of contrast. As Aaron and Soren absorbed this profound knowledge, the weight of their quest deepened. They understood their roles were not isolated acts of heroism, but pivotal links in an enduring chain of guardianship spanning eras. Their journey was a commitment to protect the fragile balance upheld by the primordial being's influence. In that moment, Soren's obsidian blade vibrated subtly, its edge catching flickers of the sable light's hidden depths. The blade now mirrored the primordial being's essence, reflecting a power both ancient and alive. This newfound resonance fortified their resolve, signaling the beginning of a transcendent alliance. From the temple's edges, under the gentle glow of silver crescent moonlight, Leora's presence whispered back into existence. Her emerald eyes gleamed with quiet certainty, offering cryptic guidance amidst the revelation. Her subtle influence became a beacon, illuminating the path the two must now take. Aaron's crescent tattoo pulsed in tandem with the blade, both infused with the rhythm of the sable light's essence. The harmonious thrum radiated strength, binding their spirits to the primordial balance. United in purpose and power, they felt the transformative energy course through their very beings. With reverence, they prepared the ancient ritual inscribed alongside the scroll's secrets. Sacred symbols were traced under the sable light, weaving a bridge between their world and the concealed realms beyond. Each movement of the ceremony intensified the bond, affirming their roles as guardians of equilibrium. As the final invocation echoed, the temple erupted into a serene blaze of pure sable light, immaculate and all-encompassing. Its serene glow cleansed lingering shadows and illuminated hidden corners alike. The ritual's success resounded through the air, signaling the restoration of profound cosmic balance. Now guardians of a tranquil world, Aaron and Soren stood vigilant beneath the shimmering sable light's gentle embrace. Their watchful eyes reflected readiness for the cycles to come, ever aware the balance must be maintained. In unity, they embraced the timeless guardianship bestowed upon them. Under the tranquil sweep of the crescent moon, the tale drew to a close, yet the echo of sable light lingered on. Silent and unwavering, it stood sentinel over the night, weaving protection through the darkness. Thus, the legacy of balance and light persisted, eternal and unbroken. Leora stood by the window, her violet eyes reflecting the luminous full moon as she gripped the ornate silver locket tightly. The glow of moonlight bathed the room in a serene glow, yet a restless energy pulsed through her veins. From a distant hilltop, Elias watched silently over the sleeping village, his cobalt blue cloak blending with the shadows beneath the moon. His pale face was somber, eyes fixed on the trembling lights below. Nearby, Faye darted nimbly around Leora, her shifting silver fur catching the moon's glow in fleeting glimmers. The small creature's amber eyes sparkled with playful mischief as she wove through the shadows. Leora opened the ancient leather-bound book on her lap, pages alive with cryptic symbols and carefully drawn sketches of moons and encroaching shadows. Her fingers trembled as she deciphered the arcane script, searching for a clue. Suddenly, a cold shadow swept across the room, and Leora gasped, dropping the heavy book onto the wooden floor with a heavy thud. The silence that followed was thick, the air charged with unspoken danger. The silver locket in her hand began to vibrate softly, emanating a faint, pulsing light that was caught by the cracked mirror nearby. Reflections danced across the fractured glass, hinting at secrets hidden within its depths. Elias descended the hill, his pale face now illuminated fully by the moonlight as his voice murmured incantations under his breath. The power in his words stirred the night air, weaving shadows into spectral forms. Faye's ears perked up, her amber eyes flashing with warning as a dark presence approached swiftly through the village's edge. Her small body tensed, ready to protect Leora against whatever was coming. Guided by the glowing light from the locket, Leora moved toward the moonlit village square, her steps cautious yet determined. The night seemed to hold its breath around her as the silver glow led the way. As Elias arrived, the shadows woven around the square twisted unnaturally, and his cloak billowed despite the stillness. An unseen wind whispered through the empty streets, as if heralding the coming confrontation. Leora fumbled to open the locket, but an invisible force sealed it shut, resisting her every attempt. Frustration and fear mingled as the object's secret remained just beyond her grasp. Raising his arms, Elias summoned swirling spectral silhouettes that circled ominously around him, their forms shifting and flickering under the moon's pale light. Faye leapt swiftly to Leora's side, a low growl vibrating from her throat as the encroaching darkness thickened. Together, they stood firm against the unfolding threat. The moonlight caught on the cracked mirror across the room, revealing within its fragmented reflection a hidden passage that had previously gone unnoticed. The secret doorway teased with promise and danger. With her heart pounding fiercely, Leora stepped toward the mirror, every shadow seeming to stretch and pulse in the silent room. The stakes rose palpably, and she knew the night held more than mere mysteries. The passage unfolded before her, revealing a spiral staircase bathed in an eerie moonlit glow that spiraled downward into unknown depths. Each step seemed to echo with ancient whispers as she descended cautiously. Elias's spectral silhouettes reached out with ghostly fingers toward Leora as she made her careful way down the staircase, their forms rippling with dark intent. The air grew colder, shadows threatening to engulf her. In a fluid movement, Faye shifted briefly, transforming into a small glowing orb that floated ahead, casting a soft light upon the dark stairwell. Her guidance was unwavering, a beacon amid the encroaching gloom. At the base, Leora discovered a chamber bedecked with ornate moon phase symbols, the air thick with silent power. She placed the silver locket ceremoniously upon a stone altar carved with ancient runes. The locket burst forth with a powerful light, waves of radiance pushing back the gathering shadows and causing Elias's spectral forms to dim and recoil under its brilliance. Recoiling but undeterred, Elias shouted a fierce chant, his voice resonating through the chamber as the altar trembled beneath their feet. The darkness rallied, unwilling to concede ground. Fissures appeared in the chamber walls, letting cascades of pure moonlight flood into the enclosed space, strengthening Leora's resolve and weakening the shadows around them. Faye's silver fur brightened intensely, illuminating a hidden inscription etched into the wall, its words glowing softly in the newfound moonlight. The revelation promised vital knowledge on their dire battle. Tracing the inscription carefully, Leora unlocked a secret knowledge about bending the veil between worlds, a power both awe-inspiring and daunting. The weight of responsibility settled heavily on her shoulders as she absorbed the ancient truth. As Elias's cloak flared wildly and the ground shuddered beneath them, the chamber threatened to collapse, the chaotic energies at their peak. The night teetered on the edge of upheaval, every moment fraught with peril. Leora clutched the ornate silver locket tightly, whispering ancient incantations to awaken its latent power. Moonlight spilled into the chamber, its glow stabilizing the shimmering veil that protected the village from encroaching darkness. Her violet eyes reflected determination as the locket pulsed steadily against her heart. Suddenly, the locket's glow intensified, bathing the room in radiant silver light, but from the shadows emerged Elias, weaving darker magic in opposition. His cobalt blue cloak billowed as a swirling storm of shadows erupted, threatening to unravel Leora's protective veil. The opposing forces clashed, casting flickering patterns across the cracked mirror's surface. Shards of the cracked mirror began to float around Leora, each fragment capturing faint images under the moonlight. Memories of the village's history shimmered inside them, festivals, laughter, and quiet nights bathed in silver glow. The reflections whispered stories long forgotten but etched deeply into the land's spirit. One particular shard revealed a startling image: Elias in his former human state, eyes filled with hope before the curse took hold. The once tall and gaunt figure appeared alive, untouched by the shadowy magic that now gripped him. This glimpse unsettled Leora, suggesting there was more beneath his eerie facade. A wave of hesitation washed over Leora as she sensed a conflicted heart within Elias. Doubt crept into her mind, whispering that his intentions might not be purely malevolent. Could the enemy she faced be bound by chains she had yet to understand? Breaking through the tempest of shadows, Elias's voice came, raw and desperate. "Release me," he pleaded, the gauntness fading for a moment to reveal pain buried deep within. His words echoed against the chamber walls, blending with the moonlight's gentle hum. The shadows faltered, trembling under the locket's persistent light, granting Leora a fleeting chance to tip the scales. Seizing the moment, she steadied her breath and focused all her energy on bolstering the veil. The balance hovered delicately as the two forces waged silent war. Faye darted around the chamber in swift circles, her amber eyes blazing with fierce determination. Each burst of her luminescent silver fur pierced the shadows, disrupting Elias's dark enchantments. The small creature's light flickered like a beacon, weaving hope into the battle's chaos. The locket absorbed the swirling memories reflected in the mirror fragments, its light swelling to an almost blinding brilliance. Pulsating with the collective history and pain of the village, it became a radiant nexus of power. Leora felt its energy sync with her own heartbeat, strengthening their bond. Gently, Leora reached out and placed her hand over Elias's pale one, their skin meeting under the moonlight's serene glow. The silver light channeled through them, intertwining their fates as the chamber filled with a warm luminescence. It was a fragile connection, but potent enough to alter the course of their struggle. Suddenly, an explosion of light shattered the lingering darkness, flooding the chamber with purity and revelation. Within the brilliance, a forgotten truth surfaced, revealing threads linking their pasts in ways neither had imagined. The veil lifted momentarily, exposing secrets hidden beneath centuries of shadow. Elias staggered back as his form flickered between ghostly apparition and flesh and blood human. The torment etched on his face began to waver, replaced by flashes of an identity long buried. The battle within him was as fierce as the one fought around them. As moonlight streamed steadily, the chamber began to restore itself. The shadows that had entrapped Elias dissolved like mist at dawn. Walls once darkened by despair shimmered with soft silver hues, cleansing the air of malice. A tranquil calm settled, weaving peace back into the very stones around them. Faye transformed back into her familiar fox form, her fur now a steady silver under the moon. She brushed affectionately against Leora's leg, a small gesture filled with renewed hope and trust. The creature's amber eyes sparkled, reflecting the light of a new beginning. Leora and Elias exchanged a glance heavy with understanding and unspoken apology as the locket's intense glow softened to a gentle pulse. The fight was over, but the journey towards healing was just beginning. In that shared moment, the boundaries of enemy and ally blurred, revealing a fragile alliance. The cracked mirror slowly began to mend itself, the fractures sealing as if healed by the moonlight's magic. Its surface transformed into a flawless reflection, mirroring the serene chamber now free from shadow. It stood as a symbol of restoration, bridging past and present in silent harmony. Outside, the village beneath the moonlight exhaled in quiet relief, shadows retreating from the streets and homes. The night seemed to breathe anew, the air lighter, carrying whispers of hope and renewal. Moon phases above shifted subtly, their glow marking a turning point for all beneath their watch. Leora closed the ancient leather-bound book, its once-filled pages now blank yet warm to her touch. The stories and spells it held seemed to have fulfilled their purpose, fading gently into peace. The book rested in her hands like a relic of a challenge met and transformation earned. Elias shed his cobalt-blue cloak, revealing a more human form beneath, his once pale skin now warmed with life and color. His eyes, once cold and distant, glistened with warmth and introspection, reflecting a soul reborn. The weight of the curse seemed to lift, replaced by tentative hope. Together, Leora, Elias, and Faye stepped into the moonlit village square, their presence casting long, peaceful shadows. United and renewed, the trio embodied the fragile balance between light and dark. Around them, the villagers began to gather, sensing the change woven through the night. Leora noticed the moon phases subtly shifting above, a delicate dance that signaled a deeper connection now forged between the realms. The celestial glow felt personal, as if acknowledging the bond sealed within the village's heart. It was a silent promise that their story was woven into the cosmos itself. The silver locket remained in Leora's hand, glowing gently as a constant symbol of balance and protection. Its light no longer a battle cry, but a soothing presence in the night. Each pulse echoed the harmony, now sustaining the village and those bound to its fate. Elias began to recount the origin of his curse, a forbidden ritual cast by the village's founding ancestors in desperation and fear. His voice carried the weight of regret and a desire for redemption. Understanding unfolded as truths long masked by darkness surfaced between them. Faye led them toward the village's oldest oak tree, its gnarled roots whispering of ancient magic lingering beneath the earth. The air shimmered faintly with residual power, a sacred place holding keys to healing and closure. The trio moved with purpose, carrying the village's hope with them. Beneath the full moon's radiant light, they performed a cleansing ritual, entwining their energies to seal old wounds. Silver light spiraled around the oak, weaving through roots and branches, purifying the lingering darkness. The village and its guardians embraced this moment of renewal as night yielded to dawn. As moonlight filters through the leaves, the base of the ancient tree shudders, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside, weathered artifacts gleam, tools of old and scrolls filled with wisdom, symbols of hope for lasting peace. The discovery ignites a spark of resolve within Leora, signaling a new chapter for the village. With care, Leora places the ornate silver locket into a carved wooden box, its surface worn but sturdy. She secures the lid, locking it tight to shield the locket's power from those who might exploit it. The precious keepsake now rests safely, a silent guardian of secrets yet to be unveiled. Elias, freed from unseen chains, stands tall beneath the moon's glow, his cobalt-blue cloak billowing softly. He solemnly pledges to watch over the boundary between worlds, joining Leora and Faye in their sacred duty. Together, their shared vigil promises to guard the fragile peace they've earned. Reflective surfaces throughout the village catch the moonlight, gleaming with renewed clarity and calm. Shadows retreat as the glow cleanses the streets, painting everything with a serene luminance. The village breathes easier, wrapped in the delicate balance restored by the night's events. New inscriptions emerge on stone markers scattered around the village, etched by unseen hands during the night. They tell the story of the moonlit revelation, weaving a tale of courage, unity, and hope for generations to remember. The stones stand as silent witnesses to the dawn of a new era. As the moon begins to set, Leora gazes upward, her violet eyes reflecting the fading silver light. She feels the weight of the village's past interlaced with the promise of the future, held gently in the twilight's embrace. Dawn approaches, carrying with it both memories and expectations. Elias and Faye prepare quietly for their departure, the horizon calling them to distant lands. Their roles as guardians continue beyond this village, a journey far from over beneath the ever-watchful sky. Farewells are brief, but filled with unspoken trust and shared purpose. Turning back toward her home, Leora moves with a newfound strength, the locket's faint glow warm beneath her cloak. She carries both the burden and blessing of what has transpired, ready to protect the peace they've secured. Her silhouette melds softly with the awakening village. On her desk, the cracked mirror now rests whole, its surface shimmering subtly in the soft morning light. It reflects not just her image, but the truth of what was mended, broken fragments made complete. The mirror stands as a quiet testament to resilience and transformation. As the sun rises, Leora smiles softly, hope blossoming in her violet eyes beneath the watchful moon's retreat. The village holds its breath, poised for the days ahead filled with promise and guarded dreams. Beneath the veil of moonlight, peace endures, quietly enduring into the future. In the heart of a forgotten village stood an old mansion, wrapped in ivy and shadow. Alina, curious and fearless, had always been drawn to the mansion despite the villagers' warnings. One evening, armed with only a lantern, she slipped through the creaking gates and into the dim hallway. The air was thick with dust and silence, until a faint whisper drifted from the wall at the end of the corridor. There, hanging crookedly, was a portrait of a woman whose eyes seemed almost alive, gleaming in the lantern light. Alina stepped closer, feeling a chill as a soft voice echoed, "Help me." Startled but intrigued, she reached out, tracing the woman's delicate features with trembling fingers. Suddenly, the room spun, and Alina found herself in a sunlit garden, centuries past, standing before the very woman from the portrait. The woman introduced herself as Isolde, trapped between worlds by a jealous curse. Alina realized the whispers were cries for freedom, her only chance to break the spell and release Isolde's soul. To succeed, she had to solve a riddle hidden somewhere in the mansion, tied to an ancient family secret. Guided by fleeting whispers and unseen hands, Alina explored secret rooms and forgotten letters. In a dusty diary, she uncovered the truth. Isolde's love was betrayed, and jealousy bound her spirit to the painting. With a steady voice, Alina recited a passage from the diary, invoking the words of forgiveness and release. Light flooded the room as the portrait shimmered, Isolde's form slowly stepping out, free at last. "Thank you," Isolde whispered, her smile warm as she dissolved into a cascade of petals. The mansion sighed, the weight of centuries lifting in an instant. Alina stepped back into the present, the portrait now a simple painting of a serene garden. Outside, the villagers noticed the mansion's gloom had lifted, its mystery gently unraveled. Alina smiled, knowing some whispers carry the power to heal and set free. The alarm's humming was the only sound cutting through the eerie silence of the museum's grand hall. Silas crouched behind a marble pillar, checking his watch, midnight to the second. Time for the plan to unfold. He whispered into the comlink, eyes sharp, "Team, the Van Gogh isn't going to admire itself." Across the room, Leela perched by the security panel, her fingers dancing over the keypad with practiced ease. Beep! The heavy steel door clicked open silently, the final barrier between them and the priceless masterpiece. Silas glanced up, spotting guards rounding the corner. "Change of plans," he murmured, drawing his smoke bomb. A sudden burst of smoke filled the hallway, confusion spreading like wildfire among the bewildered guards. Leela slipped through the chaos, sliding the glass case open with a glinting tool. The Van Gogh's colors gleamed as she lifted the painting out, replacing it swiftly with a near-perfect replica. Package secured, exfil route. Silas's voice was calm, betraying none of the tension. Jax responded from the roof. "Rooftop extraction ready, deploying zipline now." They moved as one, silent shadows navigating the maze-like corridors with military precision. Suddenly, a motion sensor blinked red. Leela froze, heart racing. "We've got company." Silas grinned, pulling out a mini EMP device. "Count on me to jack the system." Lights flickered and alarms silenced. "Go," he urged, leading the sprint to the roof. Jax caught them at the edge, hooking the zipline harnesses in place with mechanical efficiency. One by one, they zipped away into the night, the city lights blurring beneath them. Safely on the adjacent building, Silas breathed out. "A clean job, team, like clockwork." Leela held up the painting, marveling at the success mingled with disbelief. As dawn broke, the city woke unaware. Tonight, the legend of the clockwork caper would quietly echo through the streets. Leela awoke as golden sunlight streamed through her bedroom window, casting warm light that made her auburn hair catch the glow beautifully. The soft rustle of falling leaves outside whispered promises of the day ahead. Jasper, her cheerful tabby cat with a white patch on his chest, circled Leela's feet, purring softly to greet the morning. His playful energy lifted her spirits as she dressed in her favorite earth-toned clothes. Outside, Bramblewood Village stretched before her, bathed in warm autumn colors that painted the trees and cobblestone streets. Fallen leaves created a vibrant carpet, crackling softly under the footsteps of the few early risers. Leela stepped into the crisp mountain air, gripping her small satchel and the carved wooden locket she always wore close to her heart. The cool breeze teased the edges of her clothes as she set off toward the village square. She soon met Mr. Thornberry, the kind elderly gardener in his green tweed vest, who smiled under his thick gray beard as he tended to his plants. He offered her a basket filled with freshly picked apples, their red skins shining like jewels among the leaves. Jasper, unable to resist the lively garden, darted between plants chasing a fluttering leaf, his white chest patch flashing like a beacon. Mr. Thornberry chuckled warmly, watching the cat's antics with gentle eyes. Leela's sharp gaze caught a faint glimmer beneath a pile of colorful leaves near the old stone well in the village square. Her curiosity piqued. She knelt down to investigate, brushing the leaves aside carefully. Beneath the rust-colored leaves lay a small, ornately carved box, sealed tight with a rusty clasp that hinted at long-forgotten secrets. Her fingers trembled slightly as she lifted it into the light, the woodwork intricate and inviting. Opening the box, she found an aged map of the surrounding forest, its edges yellowed with time and marked by strange symbols she didn't recognize. The map seemed to pulse with quiet mystery, promising an adventure beyond the known paths. Mr. Thornberry appeared beside her, his eyes reflecting concern and wisdom beneath his gray brows. He warned gently that the forest held old secrets and forgotten paths that could both enchant and deceive. With determination bright in her eyes, Leela decided to follow the map, Jasper trotting faithfully beside her, his tail flicking in eagerness. She tightened her grip on the wooden locket as a talisman for courage. From a nearby oak tree, Willow the wise old owl with striking amber eyes watched the pair silently, her gaze steady and glowing faintly in the evening light. The glowing lantern in Leela's satchel cast a soft shimmer beneath the ancient branches. As dusk settled over Bramblewood, Leela prepared her lantern, its warm glow contrasting with the growing shadows of the forest edge. She took a deep breath and stepped into the woodland, the crunch of leaves accompanying her every move. The forest shadows deepened thickly, and soft whispers of rustling leaves seemed to follow Leela's footsteps, wrapping the path in eerie sound. A chill prickled her skin as the golden light diminished, replaced by twilight's embrace. Suddenly, a path on the map led them to a hidden glen, but an unexpected fog began to rise, swirling thick and white, obscuring the way forward. The familiar path vanished, replaced with uncertainty and mystery that chilled Leela's heart. Determined, Leela pushed through the mist, relying on Jasper's keen instincts and the steady glow of her lantern to light a narrow way. Her breath came steady as she advanced into the unknown, every sense alert to the forest's shifting moods. Deep within the fog, Leela discovered an ancient stone archway, its surface thick with ivy, matching one of the symbols mapped earlier. The weathered carvings whispered of stories and secrets long buried beneath time and nature's embrace. A sudden chill swept through the clearing as Willow hooted softly from above, her call a solemn signal of caution. The flicker of the lantern cast shadows that danced like ghosts, urging Leela to be vigilant. Crossing beneath the archway, Leela found herself in a clearing where a shimmering pond lay still, its surface reflecting the dimming sky with quiet majesty. The air was thick with the scent of moss and the deep, ancient pulse of the forest. The wooden locket she carried against her chest began to warm gently, radiating a comforting heat like a silent guide. Leela felt a connection deep within, as if the forest itself acknowledged her presence. Jasper pawed excitedly at a rippling spot in the pond's glassy surface, revealing a submerged wooden box that stirred beneath the water. Heart pounding, Leela carefully reached in to retrieve the box, its wood matching the crafted motifs they had seen throughout their journey. Inside the box, she found a faded letter, its delicate script hinting at a long-lost family connection to Bramblewood. The words spoke of love, loss, and secrets entwined with the very roots of the village's history. As she read, shadows flickered at the edge of the clearing, and a gentle voice seemed to echo softly through the trees, carrying whispers of the past. Leela's senses sharpened, caught between the natural and the spectral. The fog thickened once more, wrapping the clearing in a dense, otherworldly veil. Leela's heart fluttered with a mixture of fear and excitement, tethered to the mystery that pulled her deeper into the forest's secret heart. Following the letter's cryptic clues, Leela navigated carefully through twisted roots and fallen branches, her path illuminated by the steady glow of her lantern and Jasper's nimble steps. Together, they moved forward into what felt like another time, where every shadow promised a new discovery. As Leela wandered deeper into the twilight woods, she stumbled upon a carved wooden statue standing solemnly among the fallen leaves. Its intricate features resembled a guardian of the forest, both majestic and mysterious. In the soft glow of her lantern, the statue's eyes seemed to glint with an otherworldly shimmer, hinting at a hidden magic woven into the grain of the wood. The air around it grew still, as if the forest itself held its breath. Her heart raced suddenly when she heard footsteps crunching softly through the fog, breaking the silence of the evening. Leela turned swiftly, alert for whatever or whoever was approaching. Emerging from the mist was Mr. Thornberry, dressed in his familiar green tweed vest, his kind eyes twinkling beneath his thick gray beard. He confessed that he had quietly watched over the forest's secrets for decades, waiting for the right moment. With a warm smile, Mr. Thornberry began sharing tales of Bramblewood's forgotten past, emphasizing the delicate balance of protecting the village's heritage. Together, their voices mingled with the rustling autumn leaves, weaving a tapestry of history and hope. Side by side, they studied the map anew, their fingers tracing the faded lines until a path emerged, leading to an ancient tree marked by a symbol matching Leela's wooden locket. A newfound purpose sparked within her, fueling their onward journey. As they walked beneath the canopy, Jasper's keen eyes caught a subtle trail of glowing leaves scattered gently along the forest floor. The luminous path lit their way, casting dancing shadows among the towering trunks. They soon arrived at the ancient tree, its bark deeply engraved with runes identical to those etched onto both the box and Leela's cherished locket. The tree seemed alive, its presence commanding and timeless. Carefully, Leela placed the wooden box into a hollow in the tree's trunk. Immediately, a soft golden light pulsed from within, illuminating the runes and sending a warm glow into the surrounding woods. In response to the light, the dense fog that had lingered throughout the forest began to lift, unveiling a breathtaking vista beyond the trees. The landscape stretched out like a hidden treasure waiting to be rediscovered. Without warning, Willow swooped down silently from above, her striking amber eyes meeting Leela's before she gently dropped a small key into her open hand. Then, with a flutter, the wise owl vanished back into the twilight. Leela's fingers trembled slightly as she found the key perfectly fit a hidden compartment in the wooden box. Opening, it revealed an old photograph, yellowed with time yet filled with smiling faces beneath the very same ancient tree. The photograph showed ancestors of Leela gathered together during an autumn festival, their joy captured in the golden light of the past. It was a poignant glimpse into a lineage deeply rooted in Bramblewood's traditions. A gentle warmth spread through Leela's chest, a quiet acknowledgement of her connection to this history and the forest's enduring spirit. She felt the weight and wonder of legacy settle within her heart. Suddenly, distant sounds, soft music and laughter, echoed through the forest, as if carried on the breeze from another time. The melody stirred memories of celebrations long past, filling the night with a renewed sense of magic. Mr. Thornberry explained that once a year, the village held a festival celebrating the forest's magic every autumn, a cherished tradition now forgotten by many. The stories he shared painted vivid pictures of joy, community, and reverence for nature's gifts. Inspired by these revelations, Leela felt a newfound sense of purpose burgeoning within her, to revive the festival and ensure the spirit of Bramblewood lived on. Her resolve was as steady as the glowing lanterns surrounding them. Together, they began gathering offerings from the forest floor, fallen leaves, pine cones, and bright berries, each piece a token of nature's bounty and part of the celebration to come. Their hands moved with joyful intent, crafting the foundation of a new tradition. Returning to the village, Leela and Mr. Thornberry excitedly shared their discoveries with the townsfolk. Sparked by their enthusiasm, a wave of curiosity and anticipation blossomed among the community. Villagers eagerly began crafting decorations and lanterns inspired by the forest's beauty, and the ancient symbols rediscovered. The air buzzed with creative energy, and the soft glow of lantern light promised a festival unlike any other. Leela took charge of organizing the festival's layout, using the glowing leaves found by Jasper to guide visitors along winding village paths. The illuminated trail promised to lead everyone safely through the magical evening. Meanwhile, Jasper darted playfully between the lantern-lit trees, chasing children's laughter and weaving joy through the gathering crowds. His cheerful antics brought smiles and warmth to the crisp autumn night. From her high perch, Willow watched quietly over the village, her striking amber eyes reflecting every glowing lantern below. Her presence was a comforting emblem of wisdom and protection throughout the festivities. The festival officially began with music and laughter echoing through the crisp air, mingling with the warm aromas of spiced apple cider. The village came alive, wrapped in the enchantment of the moment and the promise of a cherished tradition renewed. Leela donned her earth-toned dress, the carved wooden locket resting close to her heart and shining softly under the lantern light. Surrounded by the vibrant celebration, she felt more connected than ever to her heritage and the magic of Bramblewood. As the festival reached its peak, the ancient tree suddenly glowed with a warm, magical light that bathed the entire village in a soft amber hue. The shimmering glow seemed to pulse in harmony with the falling autumn leaves, as if the tree itself was blessing Bramblewood and its inhabitants. Leela stepped beneath the ancient tree, her earth-toned clothes blending with the surroundings, and felt an overwhelming presence of generations who had celebrated here before her. She closed her eyes briefly, sensing the joyous spirits of ancestors swirling around, celebrating together in the cool autumn air. Around her, the villagers formed a wide circle, their faces lit by glowing lanterns and filled with smiles and stories. They shared memories of the forest's wonders, their voices woven together by the forest's enduring spirit that connected them all across time. Curled contentedly at Leela's feet, Jasper purred softly, his white chest patch gleaming faintly in the lantern light. The peaceful atmosphere around them made his cheerful nature even more evident as he basked in the comforting embrace of the celebration. Mr. Thornberry, wearing his trademark green tweed vest, smiled warmly as he watched Leela, sensing that the time had come. He felt proud to pass on the guardianship of the forest's sacred secrets to her, knowing the tradition would continue in capable hands. High above, Willow watched with striking amber eyes, her soft hoot resonating through the night. The gentle call symbolized the deepening bond between the natural world and the village community, a quiet assurance that harmony would endure. As night deepened, rows of lanterns illuminated the villagers' faces, casting a glow that reflected hope, warmth, and unity. Each handcrafted wooden lantern seemed to hold a small piece of the forest's magic, brightening the darkening sky. Silent amidst the soft murmurs of the crowd, Leela whispered a heartfelt promise to protect Bramblewood's magic and keep its traditions alive forever. Her voice carried a quiet determination as the carved wooden locket hung close to her heart, a symbol of her new role. The festival slowly waned with a final heartfelt song, its notes echoing beneath the stars and through the rustling autumn leaves. The melody wove past the glowing lanterns and into the night, a lasting tribute to the village's enduring spirit. With Jasper trotting happily beside her, Leela walked home beneath the gentle glow of the remaining lanterns. The peaceful future ahead felt illuminated not just by light, but by love, tradition, and the magic of Bramblewood's